Yo, what's up, dude? Let's do a mic check. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, coach. Yes. Oh,
Oh, let's go.
I forgot to. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Frostysauruswrecks. He's here. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Oh, hey, yo, what's up, guys?
I forgot to give you the link for the watch together thing. Or do you not have any videos for today? Then I can just play the fireplace.
I do.
You do?
I do. But we could send them if we need to.
Okay.
But yeah, send the link through the chat, or should it be through the chat or Discord?
I am going to clear your cam for a second. I've done this beforehand. There you go. There's the
There we go. All right.
key. Okay, and then I can have you back up again. Yes. There we go. Yes, it is time. It is time. Man, it's been such a long time, and it's really nice to have met you again. I'm really curious to hear all about you as well, of course. Where would you like to start? Otherwise, I would go straight into like the whole esports thing because I'm mostly interested in your esports history, coach.
Shit, dude. No, actually, I want to start from the beginning, man.
From the beginning,
Like,
okay.
Yeah, but before we do that, thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me onto your stream. I know this is like good real estate for you to, get new followers and subs. So I appreciate you thinking about me, pulling me in here. I'm super excited to hear everything you have to say, and for your chat as well. Like when I found out you were a streamer and I came in, I was like, yo, man, this chat's popping. Like you guys have a good conversational flow. Like I've learned a lot from it. So Snack Farm, thanks for having me, guys. I really hope you enjoy this talk. Remember, this is not just about like DCUO and like our past like almost 10 years ago. Like I'm really hoping like everything we talk about today that you guys can relate either through MMO fucking drama, or like esports. Maybe you guys have done tournaments, stuff like that.
Oh yes, also a special thanks for Frosty as well for supplying us with the music. For those that are interested, he also recently released a 24/7 lo-fi YouTube channel. I don't have the link at the moment.
Yeah, I could get you the link right now. I'll go ahead and drop it into the chat.
Yeah.
And guys, we're taking on Lo-Fi Girl, man. So I really hope I can get some followers here. I think my Lo-Fi Girl looks better than their Lo-Fi Girl, but here.
Yeah. Did you know that we also have our own version of Lo-Fi Girl?
Yes, I saw that. So it was that was made by Alpha, right?
No, that was made by Paige. It's not Paige in the chat. She's not here at the moment because her internet is dead. But yeah, she drew most of the stuff on the channel and everything. So that's our version of the Snack Girl, which I'll show real quick here. There we go. That's that one. She drew that by herself. We can also what I can do is, if you want, I can just have the video up in the background but not necessarily play it. Or actually, I could actually have your thing up, right? With the music and everything.
You probably could. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, so
yeah, while you're
I'll put that in then.
Yeah, sounds good. And while he's doing that, yeah, you guys see a 3D raptor? So the reason that's fucking weird, the reason I'm a VTuber, so just to explain it now, is that so like what I do for work, I try to keep it a secret, like me streaming and playing games and everything. So that's kind of like my own little secret. I don't want anyone from work to know. There's some people that actually are in this chat right now that know me in real life, and they know why I keep it a secret. I just think my industry wouldn't understand that I'm a streamer, and I don't want them to know. So it's kind of like my own little secret identity, I guess. So I mean, it's pretty easy to dox me, but if I don't got to give away my identity, I don't have to. So yeah, man, that's it.
But also in general, I mean, VTubers and stuff, PNG tubers and everything, they're really popping as well. So
yeah,
it's also there's also that. Yeah, and I will also say that I haven't seen anyone done a dinosaur before, so that's definitely a unique factor right there.
Oh yeah, dude. When I saw this dinosaur, I was like, dude, let's fucking go. There was like a commercial license to pay. I was like, dude, I'm just getting my fucking credit card. But it's funny because I have a follower. I actually know him in real life. I don't know how he found me, but he was like, talking about VTubers this and VTubers that. This maybe was a year ago. I was like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck a VTuber is. He said, that's pretty funny coming from a VTuber. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I know what it is.
Yeah. It's actually, I've noticed that as well with most people that they don't know what a VTuber is. I guess it's only if you're really into Twitch or YouTube that you kind of know what it is, but for the average person, they don't really know yet what that is, for sure. I think do you know Hollow Live by any chance?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's that service, right? Where you can actually like put your art or whatever.
No, Hololive is for as far as I know, is a group of people that all do VTuber stuff, and they're really popular. They're all they're yeah. Hang on, actually, I can show this as well. I think.
Okay.
Hololive. They're I think the leading group of I don't know, a company I guess, or people that do the whole VTuber thing. They're the most popular one for sure. That's how most people would see VTubers as well. So when I saw your dinosaur thing, I really thought to myself, like, I've not seen this before. I've seen most people use the dog thing, if you know what I mean, but I haven't seen anyone have like a unique non-human VTuber thing, I guess. Yes. You know which dog I'm talking about? It's like a Shiba Inu. I've seen most people.
Yeah, the Shiba.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Slayer brings up a good point. So Slayer's saying, like, talk about what a VTuber is, but don't explain it. So a VTuber is a virtual... Actually, no one's ever told me. I'm just guessing at this point.
Me too.
It's a virtual YouTuber. And yeah, so like my camera's facing on my ugly face. Like I haven't even brushed my beard. Like I probably have like cookie crumbs on it. I don't even know. And so what happens is that this camera is showing my face. That's going through some rendering, software on my graphics card, and it's putting over this raptor here. And this raptor's like facial and body expressions are pretty much linked to what the camera's picking up. So my camera only does facial recognition. It's not showing like my hands and shit. But I just want you guys to know my hands are in that exact position. And I have a tail. That is not my wiener. It's a tail. And also, like with the HoloLive stuff, like I really need to get some tits for this raptor too. But
that's very huge. Yeah, that's very huge.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I don't know where I'm gonna go with the VTuber thing. Really, the whole plan was, I've always wanted to stream, and we could get into that in a little bit. But really, what I wanted to do is I wanted to like launch products that help people kind of like my music, right? It's free, and I really hope people enjoy it. But one thing that I started thinking about is like, okay, well, I'm launching these products. I want to hang out with my customers. I could get some good feedback. And then I just started gaming and drinking, and it was fun. So I have a nice little following. Like I love my group. I call them the cold ones. It's the double entendre of beer and cold ones. I don't know if any of you are Warhammer fans, but the lizard men, they call themselves cold ones, right? The raptors.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a double entendre thing, I guess.
Are you a big fan of Warhammer?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, you mentioned you played that a lot, right?
Yeah, Total War Warhammer. When I was little, one of my cousins, he actually got me into Blood Bowl, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that it was actually a TV show for kids.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so yeah, I watched it and saw people get beheaded. It was great.
Yeah, I remember playing Blood Bowl as well, and I was kind of addicted to it as well. And it was especially strange for me because in Europe we don't really have much with the whole American football kind of thing. So it wasn't really a game that was easy to find. But then once I played it, I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. Looking back at it though, it was maybe a bit simplistic, but it's all fine. I had a lot of good times with it for sure. Is that still going on, that game?
So yeah, like they just did a release. I accidentally sent you a Discord. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, they just did a release of Blood Bowl. I think it's Blood Bowl 3. And I saw people playing it. I was like, dude, this is my chance. I'll hit it big. I'll get 100 viewers or whatever. And then I was like, I'm fucking lazy. I didn't do it.
Also, Pal saying thank you very much.
Release,
yeah. Definitely, from all those old games, there's a lot of... Do you remember Klonoa, which also got released, I think about like a couple months ago? Or no, half a year by now.
No, yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of old games that are being remade, which I really enjoy. But also, how do you feel about like looking back at games now from what you've played?
Do you mean like long ago? Or
yeah, long ago.
Bro, it's so funny because like back then, I was like, holy shit. I can't tell the difference between real life and this game.
Yes.
And then I look back at Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, I had Lara Croft in mind for sure. If you remember that, and the outrage of the titties. Yes.
Yeah, the one I think about is Dante's Inferno. So I don't know if you guys played that on like PlayStation, Xbox, but man, like the cinematics were fantastic. I'm like, it's ridiculous how good it was. And then I look back and I'm like, it passes for 10 years ago,
Yeah, it's crazy. Definitely 3D back then. Even GTA 3 and stuff. If you look at it now, it's not really. It didn't age well. But there are definitely certain games that did age well that you'll play regardless of the graphics. I think honestly, besides the loading screens that you might have, we talked about this earlier before the podcast, but Morrowind is still one of those games I feel like that aged well, except for the loading screens. Still recovering from the jiggle physics in Dante, Spagooter said.
Oh, the
That's
jiggle
Inferno.
physics. Oh, bro, I didn't know you played it. Yeah, and Angry Krieger said I've always been a disembodied floating voice. So, yeah, man, like, it's crazy how much graphics have improved, especially now that they actually map in like real actors with graphics.
Yeah.
Man, it's insane to me how much they've improved, because I remember back in the day like playing N64 and just go like, fuck, my mind's blown. And
Yeah.
it's funny how like as we grow older, we just keep getting used to that weird uncanny valley, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like looking back at Gears of War 1, I was like, holy shit, man, this thing is fucking wild.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to play through that game. I can't suffer the graphics. It was still a great game. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. And like, oh, you said GTA 3, like GTA 5, bro. When GTA 5 came out, I was like, fuck yeah, like this is great. This is like, the graphics look great, the vehicles look great. And then my wife and I, we went to play it maybe a year ago. We were gonna do some of the what were they? The heists. And I was like, man, these like, I was like, man, I need a mod. These graphics they need some work done, man.
Have you ever considered GTA roleplay?
So I haven't done it, but sometimes when I used to like, I don't know, I do cardio on like an elliptical or something, I would watch GTA roleplay all the time, and I loved watching like the police officers, like the people who would play as the police officers, then they'd pull someone over, and the person who gets pulled over like fucking complies, and like they actually are complying because they don't want to get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say I understand it, but I'm definitely not judging. Like I kind of would want to do it. I don't know, I just never did.
Yeah, I've also wanted to do it for a while, but I have this I don't know. It's really strange because I've done VR chat as well, but VR chat off stream. But doing it on stream is so weird because then I'm just like showing another side of myself that's like, it's not really me. And mostly on streaming, I feel like it has to be a bit more authentic and whatnot, where if you do VR chat or GTA roleplay, it's more on the entertainment side of things, which I'm not really comfortable with yet. But maybe in the future I will be doing that as well. Because yeah, there are a lot of hilarious moments for sure if you watch any GTA role players. And
so what do you,
to be a part
what
of
do you
that.
mean it's, oh, I'm sorry, what do you mean it's not really you?
It's, well, okay, because for GTA roleplay, you're not really playing it as yourself, you're playing as a character, right? And
Oh, I see.
yeah, so it's more so acting. If you look at the higher end GTA roleplay things, you could have like, for example, the straightest man alive being a very flamboyant a gay person or something, just ask for fun, for entertainment purposes, and like, or you could be a regular ass dude, just works a 9 to 5, whatever. But then you happen to roleplay as a drug dealer. You could be anything you want, and it's like
I see.
yeah. So having to act basically is kind of is a skill of itself, of course. And I would love to learn that for sure. Yes.
Yeah, man, I think it seems pretty fun, like to not be my my alcohol, induced ass. No, I think roleplay would be really cool. I just don't know how much. Well, I say I don't know how much I could get into it, but I've done it with D&D. So I did
D&D.
my first D&D game, yeah, in 2019.
Yeah.
So I played I played an ice warlock. The dungeon master was cool with it if I changed all my ice spells to like whiskey spells. Like, I was a whiskey mancer, and he was like totally cool with it. And I don't know if there's any scotch drinkers in here, but my name was Glenn Levitt. And yeah, man, like, that was a blast. And so I actually, like, I did the voice and everything, but the funny thing is, my voice, I just did the voice from Sling Blade, like, I like some biscuits, some mustard, fried potatoes. Like, I just did that voice over and over, and my wife was like, never ever fucking make that sound ever again.
Yeah, I've never actually. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I've never actually participated in D&D, but I've always wanted to. So I've always heard from other people that they wanted to, that they played D&D and all that, but I never really had that. That doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't have friends or anything. It's just I never had friends to that wanted to do that, because I've always had friends that were more interested in playing MMOs and other kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think it's pretty cool. If you have a good DM, I had a fantastic DM. He actually was a failed voice actor, so he was fantastic with the voices, and he always made sure like in every single every single time we went to like a restaurant or something, he was very descriptive on the food. Like we'd have to take breaks and be like, all right, you guys want to like get the grill out or something. Like he would explain like these kolaches. You know what those are? Like the bread with the sausage and cheese melted inside. Like he would explain them in vivid fucking detail. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I want to eat that shit. I'm like, dude, I never wanted to go quest. I just wanted to go eat food and like go to the bar and get smashed and do like bar fights. And so like my team hated doing Dungeons and Dragons. Anyway, yeah. So I think you should do it. They have those online. I don't know. I know Spagooter's a DM. He could DM for you.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. There's also a lot of games where you have those. Well, as if it's a normal game kind of thing, D&D. What's it called? Gloomhaven and stuff? If you know that?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I've looked into it, but I don't have it or anything.
Yeah, so I own it. I own Gloomhaven tabletop.
Yeah.
Like the actual tabletop, and my Frosthaven came in. Of course, that's going to be my favorite. And apparently there's an ice character. I don't know much about them. But yeah, it came in. Actually, the Funkbot's my brother. He's in chat. I think he has my Frosthaven. So when I go back into town to visit him, we're gonna play. But yeah, I highly recommend, and they've got a digital version. You could actually play with maybe some of your viewers.
That'd be pretty cool. Fun. Yeah, I've already been asked. That's why I mentioned it about specifically Gloomhaven. I know there's some others as well. You know, also a big thing that I've also never been able to play, but I mean it's kind of, you can always play this, I guess, is Tabletop Simulator, and you have all kinds of different things that you can download for it too, so you could like play as if it's, you know, real life with a table. You know Tabletop Simulator?
Oh hell yeah! So we've streamed it. So I used to do, I think, some of the Friday night streams, the Funkbot. So just so you know, in real life, the Funkbot 3000, the one that Krieger was talking about, in real life, he actually like just game masters every board game night. He holds board game nights at his place. You know, his fiance, she's in on it too. Like they host parties. So like I'll go over and we'll play. Well, he was hosting them for my stream on Tabletop Simulator, and we were playing a highly recommended game called Nemesis. Oh bro, like if you've ever watched the movie Alien, like the original Alien, that's what it's based off of. And then the second one I think is more based off Aliens.
Did you mention board game real quick?
I think it's Nemesis. Correct me if I'm wrong, kid. But kid is Funkbot.
Okay.
But oh bro, it's fantastic. So like you have all these different characters, and they all are like different classes. So you'll have like a commander, you could have like an android, which is almost like the android from the movies. And like everyone has their own task that they have to do, but survival is like paramount. And so you have to do your own personal greedy task, and then you have to do a corporate task because you're all in a corporation, right?
Okay.
But then there's these aliens, but the thing is, it's not like a normal xenomorph. Like they have different alien packs. So they have like a swamp thing kind of alien that like glooms and grows throughout the whole fucking map. They have like these cannibal aliens that eat each other and explode and shit. They got these like Protoss looking aliens that are kind of like all in your imagination. And then they got like the xenomorph aliens, and I think they're coming out with more. It's fucking dope. Yeah, man, you should grab that and play with some of your viewers. You guys would have a good time.
Also,
actually call Funkbot in.
Real quick, thank you for the raid, Coyote. Appreciate it. Hang on, did I give you a shout out? Yeah. What were you up to today? What did you play? We're currently having a podcast with Frostysauruswrecks, episode number 1. Yes, we're gonna upload this on YouTube and everything. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid. Sorry if I didn't reply earlier. I hope all is well. Yeah. So there. Where were we? Oh yeah, Nemesis. Yes. Yeah. Just in general, I've always wanted to do that kind of stuff as well. But I've really been tied with the games that I've been playing. Even before I started streaming. I guess we can go over about like all the stuff that we've played and the whole journey and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Good segue. I started off with RuneScape, just like everyone else. RuneScape. I then played some other MMO that nobody's heard of called Growl Online. It's not really that relevant. Moved on to, I think DC Universe Online was the first MMO that I played, I think, besides RuneScape.
Oh, okay.
And then DC Universe Online. After that, I was really interested in Arcade because Arcade offered so many things that I can go over in a second as well, about like all the things that you can do within Arcade that is kind of unique to other games. Besides that, yeah, and PvP was a big thing there as well. Then I moved from Arcade PvP to Elder Scrolls Online, where I played PvE at first for the first couple months, I think, or I think maybe half a year as well. And then I moved on to PvP, where I then played the same arena mode, PvP, which is just 5v5. Dude, it's been a bit too long, but yeah, it's team versus team, so 3 teams all fighting each other. Then I got a bit better at the game and started streaming. The reason why I started streaming, I have no idea. I just remember just like if I'm playing games, I might as well be streaming. So then I started streaming, and it ended up being a really nice. And the early journey for me streaming was very boosted by other people that had known me through the game itself, not through Twitch. So I got a lot of raids from already pretty popular streamers, which is very nice. And then my stream channel kind of took off. It was really nice. Said it's nice like 3 times, but yes.
But you said this was with ESO, right?
Yeah, this was
where you started. Yeah,
this is when I started streaming. So I'm very thankful for them giving me a chance, or else I would have been struggling a lot with streaming. But ever since then, I've had ups and downs, of course. I've been sick. I've been a lot of things happened. But overall, I just kind of realized at first I wanted to stream because I was gaming anyway, and I wanted to meet more people because it can be lonely at times, right? So my first goal for streaming was just to get more friends and stuff, which I ended up getting. And then because of the success of the stream, I was thinking to myself like, oh, could I maybe do this full time and all that? And then the more I thought about it, streaming is actually very difficult, and if you're not staying within one category, it's going to be very difficult to maintain the viewers as well. So then I kind of like decided like, you know what, let's go back to my original point of streaming and just make sure that I can. Well, I then improve my goal to just being like, you know what, I want a community. I want a community to hang out with and just to help each other with like improving each other's lives in a way with like I don't know. Hanging out, being a healthy distraction, advice, and also advice from me, of course, because I've also gone through stuff. So both chat has helped me, and I try my best to help out chat as well. And then now we're here. Yeah. So
bro, it's fucking hard, man.
It is hard, right?
Like being a streamer is so hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because like let's say you want to do it full time, your product is the bouts of entertainment like this right now.
Yeah.
Like this is your product, right? This bout of entertainment that's going to end in like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then you got to edit it and make it sound good and then upload it to YouTube. And the thing is, like, if you move away from that formula that made you big, then people stop watching and people stop following. And then it gets risky. Dude, it is so freaking hard. And, you know, balancing that, you know, how do I build a community of people who like me for me and like how I treat them? Like it's always a two-way conversation. Like how do I balance that and still be entertaining? Man, I haven't cracked that one at all.
No, but also
I don't fucking know how to do that.
Also, I think there's also an unrealistic view of how other people that don't stream think that how what we get from streaming as well. Because a lot of people think like, okay, so let's throw out something random. You have 100 viewers, therefore, oh, you can probably live off it. It's like, no, far from it. Like Twitch is basically, for most people, including the people that you might think are successful, which is probably the side hustle, unless you're in part of the top 1%, because most of the stuff is actually like, you know, YouTube, other stuff, merch and stuff, sponsorships and whatnot. But Twitch itself is not really the main income for a lot of people. It definitely helps a bit, but most time people have a job next to it. I'm not talking about the 1% of Twitch, but more so the people that will stream full time, but still have a job on the side as well to cope with it. Yes.
bro. And not only that, so I think I checked once, and I don't think it's the case anymore. At one point, I was in the top 5% of earners in Twitch, and you're probably above me, right? In the top 5% of earners in Twitch, I have made less than $1,000 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And this computer itself costs $4,000 to make by hand.
Yeah.
So it's like, definitely not making that return. Like, a lot of streamers don't unveil what they make. This ain't, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I've made about maybe $1,200 doing streaming, and I love it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Dude, I'm gonna be in a retirement home playing Gears of War fucking 8, just chainsawing someone in the ass, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, like, well, I think Twitch is going in the wrong direction too. Like,
I think
the new
so too.
CEO, because the CEO stepped down, right?
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Dan Carpenter, I think, is he was the president of operations, I think. He stepped in. He's the one that said, for Twitch partners, we're gonna try to move to a 50, or they did move to a 50-50 model.
Yeah.
Right? On advertise. It's like, bro, like, are you?
Yeah, I remember
serious?
that. Yeah.
So, like, there's going to be like a 0.0001% that's going to be able to survive on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So, you can diversify, like you talked about. You can do merch. You could get YouTube ads, but even YouTube ads are shit compared to what they used to be. Maybe you can go on Rumble, right? But it's streaming is hard, and like, as a primary income, very hard to do. So, like, on my end, what I decided to do is I started a company. And I'm making products, like music products and things like that. And I'm using streaming to get customer feedback. But it's usually just Spagooter saying, bro, you fucking suck at doing like in-game puzzles. That's my customer feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Krieger says, like, Twitch is set up to help big streamers stay big, not really small streamers. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. Also, for most streamers in general, you can kind of tell that Twitch is being used to, like, create content, but then the content that will then get cut into the highlights, which then will perform better on YouTube and then get more out of it too. So it's because, like, yeah, Twitch is just there. Twitch is more so of like, let's say you're recording stuff, but the final product is most likely going to end up on like TikTok or YouTube and stuff. Whereas it's not the main thing isn't Twitch itself. Twitch is more so a side thing, and that's, I think, also where I messed up earlier on when I did wanted to pursue a streaming career, is I never really focused on YouTube. So the moment that I wasn't really as active in the category that I was streaming in, or just in general less activity and whatnot, then it hurts a lot more because you're now no longer relevant for that. Whereas if you were to be on YouTube, then your content stays up forever.
Right, yeah.
And
the thing is, and you have to make that decision, but then, like, YouTube doesn't have as much customization with all the emotes and well, I guess you could still do the alerts, but it's crazy because really, like, you and me, I mean, we want to give our customers, our viewers, our community, like, we want to give them exclusives, and we're kind of bound to the streaming service we have, and then when that streaming service takes a cut, you lose all that infrastructure. So it's like really hard. That's why the strategy I'm trying to push for is I'm trying to use my Twitch as like a springboard for ideas, a springboard for feedback. And hey, you know what? If I can make a few bucks to reinvest into my business, so be it. Right. But no, I'm with you too. Like, Twitch is fantastic for getting content for Instagram, for YouTube Shorts, for my OnlyFans, feetfinder.com, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But okay, so you said that you decided to start streaming and you don't know why. But so, like, in ESO, were you like a big wheel? Like, were you starting to kick ass? And, and you had a clan and all that? Tell me about that.
No, okay. So what happened was, well, for one, I've always been a glass cannon monkey. I've always like going full damage, and if I die, I die. But if I die, I try to learn from my mistakes to not die. And then so that's always been my thing for things, because I don't really like the idea of being like half and all that, and then then you get yourself into a situation, into a fight where you might have been able to win if you had more damage, kind of thing. So I've always been a glass cannon monkey, and then if I die, I'll try to learn from my mistakes. So with that in mind, though, the battlegrounds, as they're called, the arena PvP, they're 3 teams, and you can queue up solo or you can queue up as a team. Then at first I mostly did solo stuff, and I slowly became better. I'll never say that I was one of the best, because I don't believe I was one of the best. But however, I was very I was smart about building my character the right way in order to deal more damage than other people. So in terms of skill and stuff, I will never say I'm one of the best. I was very lucky to have the right build for the character that I was playing. And with that said, I then got to know more people, and I've always had a very respectful approach. And we're gonna go into like how I used to be versus how I am now, because Frosty actually knows a lot about my history when we played DC Universe Online, and apparently I was kind of a shitter. But in Elder Scrolls Online, I've always been really respectful towards other people. If I found people that were better than me, at first I wouldn't really say much because I was shy, but I've slowly developed the ability to talk to people, I guess. And I would just then ask them like, hey, we've played a lot of matches against each other, or with each other by queuing solo. Would you like to play together? And then they would most of the time say yes, and they would be okay. And I think with that mentality, I've gotten so far into the game because I had a lot of people be respectful to me and me respectful to them. Therefore, I had a lot of people to play with and a lot of people to play against, and I was able to make my own community. So then I moved on. So then I started Twitch. Then I started getting raids from other streamers because they didn't know that I streamed. And they're like, oh yeah, I recognize you from in-game. And then a lot of people that came in with the raid also started following me. They're like, hey, I recognize you from in-game too. So then it just kind of like, it just skyrocketed really high. And to the highlight of my streaming career in ESO was when I was participating in a tournament on NA. Now I'm mostly an EU streamer for most games. For Elder Scrolls Online as well, the majority of my time spent was on EU, but for a specific occasion of the tournament, I was invited to play on NA, so I brought a group of random people over, and I will actually say random people. I do, like, obviously I know them, but I haven't really played as much with them, but they were the people that we were going to hop over to NA with, and surprisingly, we ended up winning the tournament, which then was basically the highlight of the stream. And at that point, I was kind of close to... that was the close. No, okay, I'm not going to say I was close to partner, but that was the closest I've been to partner, which was like an average of 50, 60 viewers at the time. But then this is where also it went downhill a bit, because slowly over time I had less enjoyment for the game due to imbalance with the game. And I can go in depth with that, but that's only relevant for people that play Elder Scrolls Online. And I wasn't really too happy with it. And the whole community as well. It was kind of like the thing that I was against, where it's like, if you're playing the game, you're family. If you're not playing the game, we don't know you, kind of thing. And my whole stream is about, like, you know, my own community, and also just like if someone's having a bad day or whatever, like they can easily talk about it, or they can message me or whatever. And I hope that we can all help each other. So that was the point of the stream, growing community wise. Now I know that Twitch, the majority of Twitch is more so just like entertainment purposes, right? Let's be real. It's not necessarily about like having a close-knit community, because that's like kind of like small streamer kind of goal.
Right.
So when I really noticed that most of the people in my stream weren't really there for me, all that, I started creating ways where I could kind of like cut the fat in a way, where it might sound bad to say about your own viewers, but like they were not my target audience, basically, because most of them just came for the gameplay. So what I did then was I had a bonus stream where I would play other games, so people would be familiar with me playing other games, and I would also be talking a bit more. Eventually moved on to just chatting and stuff. And then as the viewers went down, I would say that the quality of viewers went up, because the people that were then around are also people that are active in chat, and just in general just interested in not just me or anything, but to interest in each other, like asking each other questions and whatnot, like to the point now where people are playing games together. The Discord is being used, where I notice sometimes people are in voice chat together too. I'm not gonna sit here like it's always been active or anything, but just there are occasions where people hang out together, and that was the whole point of my stream. So I've gotten back to that, and I'm a lot more happier overall, rather than pursuing a career, because it's kind of like, it's, you know, like I got to the point where like it's either I pursue a career or I stream for my enjoyment, and I was kind of not sure as to which route I wanted to take, but I did decide on going for the streaming for my enjoyment and for community. Sorry, long story short, but that's basically that's
you're
basically
good,
it. Yeah. And what about you?
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah.
I want to follow up real quick. I want to follow up on what you said, because I'm gonna be honest. Like, so, you know what? Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. All right. So when I had seen you. So you left DCUO, like you
Yeah.
just left,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you went fucking silent,
Yeah.
right? And a few of us actually left to Smite. I remember, man, it must have been 2015, maybe 2016. I saw you online, and I reached out to you, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, how's it going?" Like, yeah, we don't really go on DCU anymore. I even remember I was defending left lane at the time. It's so crazy. It's like 8 years ago, and
Yeah.
and you messaged me back and you're like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll be on in a bit. And I was like, hey, Sherry's on, let's get her too. For the chat, Sherry was one of our controllers. I hate saying this, but one of your users said it, and I think it's the easiest way to explain it. A controller in DCO was a mana bitch. All
A
right.
mana bitch, yes.
So, but it was our best mana bitch. Like we didn't have a better one. And so I was like, bro, let's get together, let's play. And you're like, yeah, 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 for sure. And then you like disappeared, and I hadn't seen you up until like 2-3 months ago
Yeah.
when you were online, and I was like, hey bro, I'm streaming tonight, you should check it out. And then you come raiding with like 20 people. I'm like, oh shit, Zeiss's dick is bigger than mine, what the fuck? And so
Yeah.
yeah, and so when I started dropping into your chat, like you were doing just chatting, and you had your like fire, your 4K fire animation. I was like, bro, this is it. Like I've always wanted to start I did start a podcast. I started I don't know if any of you guys in the chat are into American football, but the Funkbot and I started a podcast called The Game Script, and it got big in China, but like
In
no one gave a
China?
fuck about it here. Yeah, in China, dude, they stole my
Oh,
podcast and sold it in a package. But
nice.
yeah, it was called The Game Script, and I was like, man, this is it. So, like, long story short, like, I was actually really enjoying your just chatting. Like, I messaged you the other day. I was like, oh man, I heard this bomb conversation you had with one of your viewers. I cut it up into a video and sent it to you. So I think your just chatting's good. And then on the viewers, like, one thing I noticed in Smite a lot is that a lot of the best players, you can tell they're burnt out, man. These guys have like 1,500 people clocking in. Like one of them, his name's Weekend. He has more viewers in his fucking channel than the Smite game Twitch channel that runs 24/7.
Damn.
And they follow him, right?
Yeah.
But he cannot change games. Every time he goes to Apex, or every time he goes to he plays Apex, Overwatch, and then Paragon. Every time he switches to those games, everyone drops. There's another guy named Solo Double J, amazing video editing skills. Really annoying in my opinion. Fuck that guy. But like his followers love him,
Yeah.
except when he doesn't play Smite. When he plays, he loves playing Nintendo games. When he plays Nintendo games, they're fucking gone, dude. And so,
Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
heard one of those quotes, like, I'd rather have $1 than 4 quarters American change, because $1 doesn't change up on you. I love that quote, man. So yeah, I have my almost 200 viewers, and I'm happy with it, man, because I have quality viewers that always tune in no matter what I'm playing. Like I could
Exactly.
be opening a jar of mayonnaise,
Yeah.
and they like it, so anyway.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah. But also, I've had a lot of conversations about Twitch in general and stuff. It also depends on like as a person, because when I talk about it, it makes it sound like maybe I'm jealous or maybe this and that. But that's not the case. It's just a matter of like, what is your goal for Twitch? Because for us, well, I can't talk for you, but I can talk for myself. But my goal is not necessarily a career anymore, right? So like for people that do stream it as a career, all the power to them if they want to do that, of course. I think that's one point that is often forgotten, that like, although we're talking about our perspective about what we want from streaming, it's not the same for everyone. Same thing for like viewers. Yesterday is a really good example, for example, where someone from chat said that like, well, it's kind of different for me because I am not so much into deep talk, and I would rather do that IRL than do that in a stream. So I'm like, that's completely fair, right? Because everyone has their own interest. But for now, it's a win-win situation still, because you're in the stream because you want entertainment or to hang out, right? And the other way around is like you're also in the stream hanging out. So it's a win-win situation. But I'm gonna be real with you. You're at the same time, you're also not the target audience I'm trying to reach, because if I do want to talk about deep stuff or just other things that you might not be interested in, then you might not be here, but that's okay. But for now, I appreciate, of course, everyone that hangs out. It's just I am trying to reach the right audience with like if I want to if I feel like I'm talking about something about life that people would be there and also active and talking about it and all that. But if you're not interested in that, but you're still in the chat, right? Or and you'll leave because I'm not playing the game, that's completely fine. Because at the time of you still being in chat, you still bump up the numbers even if you're not chatting or whatever. So either way, like every viewer is welcome, but also understand that they might not be the target audience, and that's completely fine. I think that's okay
Yeah.
to say, right?
Yeah, and Coyote, he was touching up on kind of what I was saying with Smite and Solo Double J and Weekend. He was saying like ESO has that huge effect too. You got the crazy diehards that won't watch any other game, and yeah, and I get those in my channel too. Actually, yesterday when I was streaming, I had one of my viewers who follows me in Smite and watches my YouTube videos. When like you're not playing Smite again and fucking like unfollowed, and I was like, that's cool, you know, like I'm trying
Yeah.
to get the people that want to hang out with me, bro. I fucking suck. Chat. I suck at video games. I am fucking garbage. But you know what I do bring? Actually, I bring nothing. I just try to make people laugh, right? And I want people that want to hang out with me, and that's why I got those loyal followers that come on in here. And I highly appreciate that. Like those are the people I want to hang out with, and you're gonna have those touch and goes, right? And it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Like that's okay. Like people jump in and out. Now I don't know about these, ESO guys and these Smite guys that only want to watch Smite. I actually never watch Smite in Twitch. I always want to watch a game I know nothing about.
Mm.
I don't know, maybe it's a personality thing, but I like to go in and ask a streamer, tell me about this game. You know,
Yeah.
hey Amaranth, tell me about this hot tub that you're getting in, and why are you
Yeah.
showing me your painted feet? You know.
Angry Krieger said, I started streaming because of working in a gaming cafe. I didn't want to make money, just make good times, but stopped because I wasn't quite enjoying myself anymore gaming. That's a big thing as well, man. Because like I've also had conversations with other streamers, whether they want to start streaming or just are already starting, or a bit later on. It's just a big question that you have to ask yourself, right? Because a lot of people don't do this, but like always go back to the foundation of like why, right? Ask yourself like why are you streaming? Because once you have the answer to that, that'll make things a lot easier. Because a lot of people sometimes maybe they'll be like on a schedule and all that, but they feel really bad about streaming because it's not going that well and all that. Then I always ask them like, what is the reason why you're streaming, right? It's like, what are you trying to do? Because if let's say if you want to make a career out of it, are you networking? No, you're not. Or if let's say you want to have a community, like you're doing it because you want to make friends and all that. Well, are you trying to meet people? No, you're not. Right? It's like if you ask yourself the question first, like why are you streaming? You can help yourself out a lot better than to just do it. You know, I think a lot of people tend to forget like the reason why they're doing certain things. But if you keep that in mind, you can definitely improve. Yeah.
So, I want to tell the chat something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call him Zyzus. You guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck? His name's Zeiss or is this or whatever."
Yeah.
Here's why that happens, and I don't know if you know this, bro. In the United States, there's this road near Las Vegas, and there's like a movie on it. Like it's like a total urban legend, but it's a real road, and it's called Zyzix. And it's like ZYZXX or something like that. And your name looked like that to me, so I called you Zyzis. And it has all these urban legends. And I just realized like when we raided another stream, it's 10 years later. When we raided you raided another stream, I was still in there. It was just one of the people that follow you. She was like, "Oh, hey, Zis." And I was about to, dude, I got mad. I was going to be like, even though he doesn't pronounce his name that way, you're pronouncing it wrong. And then I realized there's not another Z after the Y. So I've been wrong this whole time. But you know what? Fuck it. It's 10 years later, bro. I'm just gonna call you Zyzus. So if you guys hear me say that,
well, there are so many different ways of pronouncing it. Thing is, I still don't know how to pronounce it, so I always tried my best to not ever get into a situation where I have to pronounce my own name. But I've heard so many different things from like ranging from what you said to also people calling it Exis. But I'm like, where's the egg in Exis? I don't get it.
Yeah, dude, it's like xylophone XY, bro. Come on. So where the bro? I'm gonna ask you. I've asked you before, but you never answered me. Where the fuck did that name come from, bro?
The name. Well, okay, so I actually mentioned this a little bit before this podcast as well. My old first name that I used in music was C Dre. My first name is Darcy. So then if you it's an anagram for C Dre, C dash. I think it's called dash, right? The stripe thing. Yes. and then Dray, Dray. But then people started mispronouncing it and saying CD Ray and all that. And just in general, they couldn't really figure it out. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I need a new name. But I sat here for so long, and at the time, I was drinking a little bit, I was smoking a little bit of the marijuana. And then I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, let's just type something on my keyboard, and then XZYSS came out. I'm like, yeah, this is dope. I stuck with it. Now I will say, but I will say later on though, because people didn't know how to pronounce it, including everyone from DC Universe Online, or didn't know in general like what this name is, because it's nothing really. Then I just shortened it when I started playing Arcade with just XZI. That later I wasn't too happy with, because apparently there's I'm not sure if it's a Valorant player or Overwatch. There's a Korean player called XCI2. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
I saw him. Yeah.
So that's why I went back to my old name, to what we have now. Yes, that's my history. How did you get your name actually?
Oh, bro, you don't want to know. Hey, Funkbot, are you in chat? Let's do a roll call, bro. You don't want to know. Okay, so I'm a pain in the ass when it comes to names. So what happened was, I've always loved ice in games. I don't know what it is. When I was little, my favorite color was blue. Like, if you put me in a green shirt, I would fucking throw shit against the wall, bro. Like, it just, I don't know why I've been so attracted to the color blue. Like, it's actually unhealthy. Actually, one of my managers once told me at work, like, he studies into this, I forgot what it is, but there's this theory that when you think of things, you assign them colors. I don't know if it has anything to do with ADHD, but everything I told him, he's like, bro, you've got that shit. I'm like, cool, I'm disabled. Anyway, so like, I've always liked the color blue. Well, I think it all started when I started playing Pokemon. So when I started playing Pokemon Red and Blue, this must have been in 1999. So in 1999, oh man, I was in the 6th grade, I want to say. And so the game came out, and of course I had to get the blue edition. It's fuck red, right?
Yeah, dude, same. I also had blue. Yes.
Oh, let's go, dude. So yeah, I played that game. I didn't choose Squirtle though. I chose Bulbasaur because he looked like a He looked like a dinosaur, my guy. Like, Bulbasaur's the fucking dude.
But Squirtle, dude. Yeah.
I mean, I chose Squirtle later on. It got Bubble Beam and just Bubble Beamed everyone, but I because you couldn't really see the colors as well. There weren't any colors. Right?
I remember
it was
that,
black and white, so I didn't know he was fucking blue. I was like, Squirtle's green, bro. He's a fucking turtle, right? Right?
Yeah.
So to me, Bulbasaur was a blue dinosaur with a fucking onion on his back. Remember, this is like old school fucking Game Boy.
Black and white.
Yeah, dude. And so I play it, and then I run into fucking Articuno, bro. I used my Master Ball on Articuno, and there was like a Great Ball on Mewtwo. Isn't there like a 0.01% chance you could catch it? Caught him on my first Great Ball, bro. So I like totally lucked out. And so I got Mewtwo, and I was like, Mewtwo, you're in the back, dude. My team was Articuno and Venusaur, bro. And so, like, I kind of stuck with that. But at that moment, I was like, bro, ice is my shit. So anyway, fast forward, like, I did some Battlefield 1942 competitive play. I played all these other games. But when it got to DCUO, and I learned that I'd be able to make a supervillain that used ice, I was like, bro, let's fucking go. And I needed a fucking name, dude. Well, my original name, you know what? It was actually before DCUO. It was World of Warcraft, Vanilla, 2004. So November 2004 is when I bought it. And I was an ice mage. My name was Frostitute. Not prostitute, Frostitute. And I was an ice mage. Like, day fucking 1, dude. And so, like, I did that for a long time, got my account hacked, never played again.
I have a question about that, because I remember someone also calling you Frosty, but who was that then? In DC Universe Online too.
Oh, bro. Okay, so that was probably my wife, a girlfriend at the time. Like, a lot of people called me Frostitute. That was my original name.
Yeah.
But that name got taken because I played on PlayStation, because PlayStation came out before PC. And so I got it on PlayStation because all my buddies were on PlayStation. Like, I was following DC Universe Online when they first announced it in 2011. So I'd been following it the whole time. I still have the first email on get early access on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so I got it because all my buddies had PlayStation 3s, I guess. I don't fucking remember. And we all played, and we made a clan called Skynet, which Skynet carried off into in the real world. Like, I ran like a software engineering team of like fucking 20 people. We called ourselves Skynet. Everyone loved it. Like they were like company renowned. But that started in DCUO on PlayStation. So my name was Frostitute then. And then when I moved to PC, because I was like, I'm just done with PlayStation. The updates suck. Like, PC's where it's at. I can do combos way better. I went to PC. At the time, everyone said Ice DPS sucked. It was like, if you were DPS and they said what type and you said Ice, bro, you were getting dropped.
Yeah.
You were getting fucking dropped hard. This is before Hardlight came out. And so I tried to name myself Prostitute, like, when I moved to PC, and someone fucking took that name. I'm like, bro, I know Kidding spent like 10 hours trying to think of a name. And Funkbot was with me, and he was trying to help me out. And like, I was like, maybe I'll be Frostbot. Taken. Shit. Let me try Tundra. Taken. Wendigo. Taken. Motherfucker. And I'm not gonna have words or letters or I'm sorry, numbers in my name. And so it's like 10 hours later, and my brother's like, try easy breezy chili cheesy. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And I type it in, and it's like, it doesn't fit by like 2 letters. I'm like, come on, dude. And so then I said, fuck it, I'm Frosty McFreezington, and I'm gonna wear like a fucking top hat. Bingo.
I see. So that's how you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so everywhere else I was Prostitute. I think even in Steam, I'm Tundratic or Prostitute or whatever. But yeah, that's how I got that name. And so after that, I was just like, well, I'm just gonna call myself Frosty. So I don't know if you knew, but I had a YouTube channel with one video on it, and it was Frosty Gaming. But do you know how many Frosty Gamings there were in 2013?
I can imagine. Yeah.
There were like 25 of them, man. Yeah, man. So that's how I ended up getting that name, and I kind of stuck with it. So it's funny, like, my love of dinosaurs when I was like fucking 5, plus my love of color blue, plus fucking Ice, it has turned into this fucking weird brand. And yeah, I love it though.
Yeah. Well, now that you mentioned DC Universe Online, maybe it's time to reveal some stories about DC Universe Online.
Oh man, yeah, okay. So DC Universe Online, here's what happened. Oh, and Krieger says, yeah, I'll say hi. She doesn't go by Miss Musket. She goes by Lady Frost. So I don't know if you guys remember Chaotic Fear. I wanted him in here, but he didn't show up. He's the one that coined it. And so she went with Lady Frost. So believe it or not, that little animation you're playing, her name is Lady Frost, and that's copyrighted. Now, the music's not, but that animation is. So the copyright is Lady Frost. Ice DPS sucked unless it were me. No, there were some good Ice DPS, but yeah. Nah, man, I made it work. Okay, so DCUO.
Yeah.
I want to give everyone a background. So I mentioned I was on PS4 and I moved. Actually, I think some of you guys can relate. Have you guys ever had like friends that you knew in real life and you really wanted to play games with them, and you try to pull them over to play games with you, maybe on Xbox or PC, and they start an account and they play with you for like 2 or 3 days, and then they log off and never get on? Am I the only one that's run into that shit?
Man, that still happens today. I'm 29 years old now. You're a bit older. That still happens today, dude.
Bro, that fucking it's annoying. I hate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have some good friends. I have a friend that I've known for like 21 years. He created like this tech assassin called Death Joke on PlayStation. I'm like, bro, we're gonna make a clan. It's gonna work. Had another buddy. He was a fire tank. And then they all started quitting, man. They just all started quitting. And I'm like, man, fuck this. And then I was playing with the Funkbot and Lady Frost, but Lady Frost started working 3 jobs. She was trying to, just get herself through college and had bills to pay. And she was more in debt than she ever told me. So I never knew. I didn't really help. She just handled it herself. And so she stopped playing. And then Kiddo, he started dating who his fiance is now. And so he wasn't getting on the Funkbot. And so like I came to this weird pass where I'm like, well, I had already moved to PC, and I'm like, nobody's playing with me. So I disbanded my clan Skynet, and then I ran a run with Krieger here. He was Wicked Nature at the time, and he was part of this clan called the Adjustment Bureau. I'd been seeing the Adjustment Bureau around. There was another guy named Rafiki who was in it, and I was just fucking tearing the scene up with ice DPS. Like I was crunching the numbers. I even have an old email of me actually crunching the numbers, checking what's the probability of like critical hits. I was actually I had a video recording software at the time. So what I do is I'd record myself doing rotations, and I would see how many frames each spell in the ice in the ice like kind of loadout did. And I started mapping, like I had a notepad file and I mapped what the rotations are that clip. So the term clipping came out of that, like clipping an animation. And of course they had that in fighting games and stuff like that, right? But like we would always talk about this clips with this clips with this. So like I still remember my 3 was an AoE ice sheet attack that would do damage over time. It would do 8 ticks. And then my 1 was a damage buff to my weapon. So what it would do is it would buff my weapon and do damage on a ranged attack. It'd do ice damage. And then my 2 was an ice bubble. But the thing is, all of those had a passive where what they would do is it would create like a chilling effect on me. And once I hit 5 chilling effects, I started doing crits on my attacks. Well, Snowball would burst on a crit. So it just all worked out. And the thing is, no one had figured this out. Everyone was trying to make a gun build work, but there wasn't enough mana in the world to handle that shit. It was like the US banking system right now, dude. Just fucking.
Also, little backstory as well. DC Universe Online is pretty similar in terms of how the combat works to Elder Scrolls Online. Animation canceling was also a thing, so you could animation cancel certain things in order to improve your to do a faster rotation. So that's what he was talking about. Elder Scrolls Online kind of functions the same way, where I think DC Universe Online also had like 6 skills, right? I think. With the only difference being in Elder Scrolls Online, you have 2 bars of 6 skills rather than just 1 bar, because you don't have multiple bars, right? From what I remember in DC Universe Online.
No, you had 6 skills.
Yeah, 6 skills. Yeah.
It's 6. You had 6 skill slots, a trinket, like one or 2 trinket slots, and then you had consumables.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for you guys in Smite, there's attack canceling as well. Like with my Emir, if you throw a 2 with the auto attack, it hits, right? So I think everyone can relate to this. Like in every game, like in Call of Duty, there's probably slide canceling some shit, or Apex, right? It's the same concept. The animation can get canceled, and it's actually built into the system. The thing is, people didn't understand clipping as well, like year 2 into DCUO.
Yeah.
And so there was like this whole belief that at the time, sorcery DPS was king. Now, towards the end, sorcery DPS was garbo, but at the time it was the thing to do because the AoE. And so I had been kind of, I guess, making the runs because I needed to get things done, but I wasn't part of a clan. My brother wasn't playing much anymore. Every now and then my wife definitely wasn't playing anymore. She'd come in here and there, and so it was just me. And so I was like, okay, I need to clan up. So I dropped Skynet, and then I got invited into the adjustment bureau with Krieger here, and Rafiki was the lead. And so he sets up a meeting with me because I helped to run, like, not a raid, more like it was an alert. Alerts were like dailies. They were more like weeklies, but at the time they were like dailies. So just think of like a 4-man raid for the people in chat. And so I'd run an alert, and I knew all the tricks because, like, I was just playing games, and I was working in like a machine learning lab at the time, which I wasn't doing much work. And then I was in grad school, and so I played a lot. And so then when I got invited into the adjustment bureau, that's when things started getting kind of weird. And so long story short, and we can get into the details in a little bit. But long story short, Rafiki, who's the one that started the adjustment bureau, ended up just fucking disappearing one day. I actually have the date where I'm like, yo, Wicked, this fucking dude's gonzo. And then so Wicked became the lead, and he was dealing with a lot of stress because he was working at the time. So he was dealing with a lot of shit. And so I was trying to keep the league afloat. And we instituted strategies to actually try to take on God Mode. And that God Mode was another clan that was a top clan at the time in the server. And so yeah, I got some of those details here, man. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Does that answer your question? Anything else?
No, definitely. No, I'm really wondering about all the drama stuff and all that. that's what I'm interested in, because I don't have any recollection as to what happened in the guild, or what I was like as a person. I do kind of remember that I was very competitive in a way, so I might have been a bit toxic in that regard. If, like, you know, if I wasn't really around good people, I might have been a bit upset about that situation.
Oh yeah. You were toxic for sure, dude. But what I want to say is the shit I'm gonna read here. No hard feelings. Like,
Yeah.
all this shit was dumb drama.
Yeah.
Turns out I was pretty bad. No, not turns out. I already knew I was pretty bad too. All right. Well, let's start with it. Here, I'm gonna bring this up.
Oh yes. Get right into it.
All right. So you guys may not know this, but there was a strategy here. So what happened was, oh, you know what? I actually have a cool little. Let me see if I can get this to you.
Okay.
I have a screenshot. You know what? I lied. I think I'm gonna send you something on Discord. Do you think you can display?
Yeah, I can hide you for a second and open it up.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, we were young as fuck. Yeah, we were really young. Keep in mind, like, I'm now 29. I think this is like 10 plus years by now, right?
I was 25. So I was actually more mature, but I was still an asshole. Let's see. Collaborations. We got Ziz's thing. Here we go, dude.
Okay, I'll hide you for a sec. Oh, for those who don't know, I'm currently streaming his thing through a Discord call, so that's why I have to hide him for a sec, or otherwise DMs would be open, and we don't want that. Yes. So I'm waiting for the link, and then okay, here we go. Yes.
Okay, so this is right after Rafiki left, and I can get you an exact date.
Okay.
All right, so I didn't take every email. I just took emails of substance. Okay, so September 24th, 2013. So just so you know, I think the Bureau of Revenge started in the summer of 2013 from the Adjustment Bureau. It had to be the summer. And so I sent an email to Wicked. So none of you know this. Me and Wicked talked all the time. We had emails going back and forth. And what do you call it? Like, the only ones that talked through email to actually keep the clan running was me and Wicked, and me and Jax. Me and Jax only started talking when Wicked had stuff going on. He needed time. He was really busy with work. So I had to try to run the clan, and that's when things got really hectic. And I know why things got hectic looking back. Our clan would have never survived. We got too big too fast, and there was no incentive to keep it running. So Krieger says, yeah, we were all pretty bad. We were young as fuck. Yeah, it was early in the summer. So, it was early in the summer. So that means we actually only communicated through Bureau of Revenge, and we communicated through DCUO. So then I was telling Wicked, we need to start communicating through email so we can handle the shit 24/7. So what you guys are looking at is an actual league structure that I set up and I sent to Wicked. So let me see if I can get this so I can see it. Okay, so my background has brought me to organizational kind of engineering, if you will. But when I was younger, I was terrible at creating organizations, organizing groups of people. I would say I'm a lot better now. I would think I'm a lot better now. Back then I wasn't. So because of my past work, it was very bureaucratic on how organizations were done. It was a whole idea that you have all these very unique and very smart and very passionate people. Let's give everyone a unique job. Now, in modern organizational structures, that is not a good idea. Modern organizational structures, you need small teams to be self-organizing, self-motivated, and provide them all the resources they need to succeed. Right? That's how you make strong teams with smart people. We didn't do that here. We gave everybody a specific job and made it a bureaucracy. What happens in bureaucracies? People kick each other in the fucking nuts. But here, Wicked Nature was the leader, and he delegated a lot of tasks to me. What do each of these mean? Fucking nothing, but we thought it did. So personnel officer was Fruity. What does personnel officer mean? Nothing. What was the intent? The intent was that he dealt with drama.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Raid officer was me. What did this mean? I run the raid. You know, if you have thoughts about it, fuck you. Give me power. Fuck you. Do your job. And so I was very toxic in this role. Chaotic brings it up, bro. He was 16 or 17 at the time. Bro's like done with college. He's almost like he's like 27, 28. And so he always laughs at how mean I was. He was like, I would just yell at people all the time. Recruiting officer Jax Bailey. I invited her to the stream. I don't know if she's in chat. She probably didn't get the email. Jax Bailey was fantastic. From a game point of view, she was a good controller. Like, could she have done better at giving banish? Sure. But she was fantastic at dealing with the league. Now, a lot of people had problems with her, Zyzus included, Mars included.
I did?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, fuck yeah, you did.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
you did. So a lot of people didn't like her position and her promotion to that point. But what people didn't see is she was providing me data, a lot of data. She was providing me a lot of information, and we actually talked a lot. She actually had a crush on my wife. She was trying to get in my wife's DMs, bro. But I was telling my wife, hey, let's make that happen. No, she was fantastic. She helped run the league, so she gave me a lot of information. So PvP officer, what we were trying to do here is we were trying to steal Warzo. Do you remember Warzo? Warzo. He was like one of the top ice tank.
Yeah.
A bruiser.
Yeah, damn. I totally forgot about that person. Yeah.
So that guy. So we were always trying to steal him. I forget what clan he was in, but he eventually I think got invited into God mode. So PvP officer was Rafiq's honorary spot if he ever came back. Yes. Yeah, if he ever came back, and we knew he wasn't. He came back once. He's like, nah, man, I'm doing shit. But we were trying to get Warzo, and I think he eventually went to God mode. And Warzo was always cool. So he was one of the few people that played Ice Bruiser. So you were either Ice DPS or you were Ice Tank, period. Towards the end, when Weapon Mastery came out, there was an idea of a Bruiser. You did half PvP, half tank loadout, and you could do both. And so with PvP, that was super effective with Ice. And so we were trying to grab him. He eventually, he turned kind of shitty, and he challenged me with Sherry and Cav. Cav tanked. Sherry was a controller. He had all the skill points and all the armor. I didn't. And I still out DPS'd him. That was my very last game. That's the last time I logged into DCUO. I had the screenshots, bro. I had them. I took screenshots going like, fuck this guy. I'm the best. I'm out. Drop mic. But I couldn't find it. Man, it's too bad. But anyway, yeah, that was reserved for him or for Rafiki. Communications officers, what did that mean? We wanted to get people to become officers. That's it. Like that, there was no real job. It was like, if I remember, the idea was I delegated the task of forming the raid to these guys, so they would like make announcements to the league, which were handed down. It's so bureaucratic. Like, this is why governments don't work, bro. But yeah, it just didn't work. The raid adjutants, Mars was there because Mars was good. I think Mars had an issue with Bola, dude. A lot of people did because he had skill problems in the game.
Yeah, he wasn't really too. I do actually remember that Bola was a really nice person, but he was really bad at the game. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because I put him in that role, there were a lot of problems. So I have an email about that. Recruiting adjutants, you can kind of tell where my skills of my past have brought me. Adjutant, come on. But yeah, these were guys that would help recruiting. Guys, there was a plan here. Like, has anyone in the chat ever heard of like EVE Online and how crazy these groups, these clans get, to the point where they're their own they're kind of like their own companies, like real companies, and they have people who have roles in all of that. Well, like, the idea here, and we had a strategy, and me and Krieger, Wicked Nature, talked about it a lot. The strategy was, we are going to take over the fucking server. We are going to bring in all the talent. We're going to have all the raids, but we're still going to be chill about it. Does that work? No. Did we try to do it? Yes. And so the idea was if we could get Mars. So the way we got you guys, Senate, Xyzus, and Mars, is I think it was a clan forge. Like we brought you guys in,
Yeah.
but we brought like Proto's team. Proto's not on here. Proto's team. I have an email that we stole 8 of their people.
Isn't Proto dehydrate?
Oh yeah, it may.
Right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, yep. Yeah, so that's how we got you guys.
Yeah.
And then we got other clans that way, and we got limited control. So you don't know limited control. He was gone before you showed up. But
I do
that's how
remember
we
him.
got
I do
these
remember
guys.
him. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Very sad about him.
Yeah.
And then Sorcerer Tiger, yeah.
Why do I remember Sorcerer Tiger? Was this a person that was really bad at the game or no? There's something about the name. Yes.
he
Oh.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was my idea. I was like, hey, Wicked, here's how we're gonna form this guild. You guys, a lot of your viewers are from ESO or Guild Wars. You're from ESO, Guild Wars, DCUO, World of Warcraft. You and I both know this does not work.
Yeah.
This right here doesn't work, but we thought it did. And so you guys had a problem with that. You guys let Jax know, and you guys spoke up about it quite a bit, that it didn't work. At the time, I was like, well, we need to be very structured.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the cool thing, so what we did very well though, that was interesting, is that we did fantastic at recruiting. Jax and Mars and you guys pulled in a lot of people. We were able to steal God mode people.
Yeah.
And you guys don't know this. I don't remember the names, but I actually kicked some people from the clan, made them join other clans, and then bring them to us. So we called them ghost members.
Oh.
Yeah, we were really good at stealing talent. The problem is, what happens when you get a bunch of big dick alphas in the same team? They're gonna fight, and that's what happened. And so, anyway, yeah, I wanted to show you that. Let me see. When did that go out? I think that was around September 24th. So it was, around September 24th to the 27th. That's when Rafiki quit. So I send out an email here to Wicked Nature, and I say, I remember that some people like internal affairs. So the idea is like people were like, the Adjustment Bureau, we really don't like that name. The movie wasn't even that great. Can we?
Oh, that was from a movie?
Oh, it's from a movie. Yeah, the Adjustment Bureau. It has Ed Reed. Maybe is it Ed Reed? I don't remember. But anyway, then I go, dude, has Feeks, like, has he signed on recently? And we hadn't seen him. We were a big dysfunctional friendly family. I don't know, man. Yeah, we were dysfunctional. So about a week after that, I started mentioning Rafiki was gone. And then I noticed that I am the new lead of the league. Like I was the new leader. And then I email Wicked and I say to Wicked, oh no. He says to me that he doesn't see himself lasting with iCarry anymore. Do you remember iCarry?
Yeah.
So iCarry, they had an ice DPS that was like me. He said he could outdo me. He did. He beat me like the first time. But once I figured out my rotation, he never beat. I couldn't remember his name. But so Wicked joins iCarry, leaves me as the league. But he said they're too serious for me. You know, pretty much he's like, I wanted to talk about other shit, but all they did was talk about the game. And so I think there's some parallels here like that you were talking about in your other stream about how, you know, like we need to decide, or we needed to decide, is our clan going to be, you know, serious, or is it going to be chill? Because you can't have both.
Exactly, yeah. The foundations of a guild.
Yeah, and so what I said here, and this on September 27th, 2013. How old were some of you fucks in 2013, bro? So I said, if you return soon enough, the lead is yours. It's your league. I don't mind being number 2 or even number 3 if Feeks gets back. Looking at that again, like from leadership, like once it's kind of like in pro sports. Once someone loses the lead gig, you never give that shit back. You don't do it. But I was pretty much saying I'd give it back here. So I said I can lead if I need to, but with this league, I feel I'm more effective in support. Like I was trying to fucking get a degree. You know? I said really what I want to do is I want to lead the raids. That's what I was saying here on in 2013. So I said many of the people have been asking about you. You should come back. So then that email never got answered. But then on that same day, the first big drama breaks out that an email came out about. So September 27th. So any of you in the chat that has ever had a planned, like an actual planned raid, kind of like I think back to like World of Warcraft, right? So World of Warcraft, I don't know if you ever had to do the Onyxia raid back in the day, but you plan that shit. It's going to be at this time. Everyone needs to get on. You know, everyone has the role. Blah blah blah. We did that, and it failed. So I'm going to read this out here. So I said, I don't know how interested you are in this idea, but I think Paradox Wave and Nexus failed today because More. I don't remember More. Do you remember a More?
More? How do you spell it? Or is it just
M-O-R-E? M-O-R-E.
Oh, no.
I don't remember. Okay, we had a fire tank named More.
Okay.
I'm totally about to throw him under the bus. I don't even remember this.
All good.
More is lacking on tanking. It's obviously not a problem with skill. We know he's good. I was nice to everyone. Yeah, right. And that whole thing about fire being terrible for tanking, that's bullshit in my mind. So one thing that I really liked about the way you and I thought, and the way Funkbot thinks about it, he's probably the one that makes me think this way, is whenever I get in a game, when people are like, bro, what's the fucking meta? You're not doing the meta. Oh, this thing's terrible. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah,
I try to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like this shit was put in the game. It was tested. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I always had a belief that fire tanking was fantastic because the healing is so good.
Yeah.
Right. And so for a fire sucking at tanking, I have a theory. I think that many of the fire tanks that progressed when the game was launched switched over to ice a long time ago because of the whole fire sucks mentality. So many people that roll fire tanks are rather new to the game. More is still pretty new. That being said, new players tend to lack skill points. More has 76 skill points. Homie, we were in Nexus and Paradox Wave. Like, if I remember, we're like 103 or you're not getting in.
Yeah.
He had 76 and he was taking more, Paradox Wave. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is I'm at 110 skill points. Once I get to 120, I think I may have to say, fuck it. Get me some tank gear. I've been watching people tank carefully and I've been picking Ares' brain a bit. I don't remember Ares. Oh no, I remember Ares. He was the army intelligence officer. I think I can do it. I'm going to stay DPS, of course, because I love doing that most of all, but the progressive side in me wants to tank to make sure we actually get shit done, since More created a DPS tune anyway.
Yeah.
So this was the first bit of drama. People started talking and people were like, bro, we can't even do Nexus and Paradox Wave. And we're hearing God Mode was the first on the server to get the Paradox Wave achievement.
Yeah.
The
EO, right?
EO.
I don't even know what EO stands for, but I just remember Paradox Wave EO. Yeah.
Epic Odyssey or something.
Oh, Epic Odyssey. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So I remember EO, and I was like, bro, they didn't get it. But dude, we were running Paradox Wave with the 76 SP tank, and my guess is he was the only tank. I always believed 2 tanks was the way to go, but we always did 1 tank. But I always believed 2 tanks was better, but we never proved it. Okay, so here's where the league drama starts. It actually started right after that. Well, no, not right after. It was. Oh no, I'm wrong.
Also, really quick, league is basically a guild. Yes, for those who don't know.
I hope you were enjoying the. Make sure to. Oh, hey, thanks, Jay Slayer. Yeah. So now here's the thing. I actually jumped over quite a bit. I hadn't sent out emails for a while, and it actually makes sense. When I was looking through the emails, I was telling Wicked and Jax that I wasn't going to be available. 1, because I had a death in the family, so I actually didn't play for some time. And 2, I was really busy with finals. So like I was kind of getting towards defending my thesis. I did a graduate degree in national security, so I was really into like government security at the time. And so so I sent out an email. And we had some league drama, baby. So whatever I say, I don't know what I say in here, but whatever I say, don't take shit personal. I don't think I talk about you too much. So just thought you'd want to know, ran A and B. What's A and B? I think that was after Paradox Wave.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Isn't that the one where Rage came out? That same notch?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. To me, it looked like I typed in Airbnb.
Rage is another class, basically, power class.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, imagine you're a Green Lantern, but you control blood.
Yes.
Like, it's pretty fucking dope. So anyway, I ran A and B with Pew as Kebab. So I guess Pew was one of our
No, no.
players.
I'll have you know that Pew is me, because I remember I renamed from my name to Pikachu, because remember at the time I also wanted to play electric DPS, and I was like, oh, I need a new name, and then I was like, you know what, Pikachu, because I thought, you know, it's cute or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that was me then, yeah.
I don't think I knew this was you.
Okay.
So I say with Pew as Kebab trolling, so not quote unquote in league. But I knew you were in the league. Rump,
Yeah.
Blue Flame, Thug of Peace, and Neurotics, all in the league. Two non-league, Murder Engine and Kevin Alexander. I remember Kevin Alexander.
Yeah.
The non-leaguers were bitching about the trolls not controlling.
Yeah.
Pew was a bit punchy, so he was a little ambiguous about some things, some of the things that were said.
Yeah.
It could have been taken negatively, so he was a little, or it could have been taken negatively or in jest. Though nothing inappropriate or disrespectful, I guess Neurotics and Blue Flame, which was B1UE F1AME, didn't know that Kebab is equal to Pew. And I guess that equals to Xyzus, correct?
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So
I also had a
Neurotics
Kebab
was-
something, right? That's what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Kebab was a controller, right? Or DPS?
Yeah.
DPS, right?
I honestly don't remember, but I know
it
that
was
I
a
played all the
DPS,
roles
yeah.
eventually. So it's one of the things, yeah.
Yeah, and so Neurotic says to Pew Kebab, "I'll kick you." So that was to you. Meanwhile, everyone was telling them in the league that in chat that Kebab is pretty much in the league. So Neurotic says like, "No, fuck this guy. He's not controlling." I think you were trying to do DPS. He's not controlling. Fuck this guy. I'm gonna kick him from the raid. I wasn't in there.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, so that was from Jax Bailey to me.
Yeah.
And then I said, hey, thanks for the update. Here's where I'm going to warn you, bro. So you got to remember, I'm leading the league. I don't know, like, I knew who you guys were, but you guys are, you know, like outsiders coming in, and now we got problems. So I said, Xyzus is a great guy, but he's only like 19.
Yeah.
He jumps into league drama pretty swiftly. And this is about the 5th time he's left the league. So you left the league like 5 times at this point. I remember I kept trying to get you back. That I was even like, Jax, get it back in the fucking league.
Yeah.
He's never been happy with the leadership. And that was specifically, so I think you and I had a talk at one point. Like, I think you were telling me like, dude, it's not you. Everyone else sucks. So I think this was to Bola.
Yeah.
I think it was Bola and Jax. Because they didn't have skill. They were older players.
Yeah.
And like me now, like when I play games, people are like, oh, you missed a freeze on a mirror. I'm like, because I'm 10 beers in, bitches. You know, so
Yeah.
and so okay, anyway. So he's never been happy with the leadership, but when I gave him a chance to lead, he gave it up. So I actually gave you a chance to lead the league. So I mean, at this point, I was already like, fuck this, bro.
Yeah.
So he wants a closed league with little to no recruiting. So at this point, you wanted the shit closed. You're like, no more recruiting. And that would mean Jax doesn't have a role. So she was kind of freaking out, which to be honest, we're all in, like she was in college too. So it's like not having a role is a big deal. Right now, I'd be like, all right, cool. I don't have a role.
It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that won't happen on my watch. That's what I said. That won't happen on my watch. I said, I'm sorry to see him leave, but I've seen it coming for some time now. If someone in group chat that's in the league gets a little mouthy, tell them to cut it out or in group and chat. So I remember this was a big deal. Everyone was firing back and forth. I think Mars had your back, Senate's had your back. And I'm like, guys, I don't got time for this shit.
Yeah.
So if they can't handle it, I'll kick them from the league, depending on how they handle the situation. So that happened. That was on March 31st, 2014.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So I had this out of order. There's something that happened before that. So 3 weeks before that, Jax goes, "What's up, boss man?" So at this point, I think I just took over the league. I think Wicked had been doing some stuff. I know he came back in 2015 and he joined up with Perving. But at this point, I think
Perving is a player, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, stop Perving. Yeah, he was probably one of the best ice tank.
Everyone looked up to him. Everyone looked up to him. He was one of the best players. Yes. Overall, even just across all platforms, I would say he was one of the best. He was also the one to set up records and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was from Texas, Wicked's from Colorado, and then you were from the Netherlands along with Senates, I believe, and then Perving was from Australia.
No, correction. The sentence was from Egypt. Yes.
Oh, from Egypt.
Yeah, he's
Oh, fuck.
from Egypt.
Yes, so was Vampire's Killer, but he wasn't that good. But he was a loyal follower of mine.
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
while.
I remember. He's a funny man.
Was a world first tank for Nexus. Yeah, man. Like
Yeah.
he was like one of the first to tank Nexus.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 weeks before that, I didn't know this. I thought you and Lucky were cool, but Lucky and Mars were not cool. So 3 weeks before that, Jack says, "What's up, boss man? Looks like there's been some drama on the forums about Lucky's post. Mars has left as well." So I think Lucky, I don't remember what he said, but he was pretty much saying stuff like, like we got people like, bitching or whatever. I think he used the word bitching, and that's that sent it to Mars off. So then I said, yes, Mars said there's too much drama in the league, and that it's from people in the league bad mouthing others. Dude, so much drama.
Yeah.
This is utterly ridiculous. I said, this is utterly ridiculous. He questioned some of my decisions on promoting certain individuals to officers. These are decisions that I will not justify or apologize for. Bro, look at me, dude, putting on my big boy pants. And then I said, someone told Senates that Lucky talked bad about him. I finally got to the bottom of it, and it was thrown way out of proportion, and it was Senates that blew up. So now that Senate, Xyzus, and Mars are gone, I expect there to be less drama, bro. So, yeah, dude, you were a little drama queen, man.
No, I was.
Yeah. But I guess that's what made the game fun.
Yeah.
It was getting kind of bland. And you know what? That's another topic. At this point, Game Update 3 was going through, and so like the game like totally sucked at this point.
Yeah.
Like the updates weren't coming in. It's terrible.
I can tell you a little bit about my side of DC Universe Online experience. I remember back then I was very competitive, so I've always wanted to be among the best, let's say, and that also meant that like I was very quickly upset with players that wanted to raid with me and other people like Senates and Mars that can like pretty much complete whatever at that point.
Yeah.
So of course I lost my patience, which like I'm very different now. Of course, this is way back then. I had no patience for other people whatsoever, which is a really bad thing. But anyway, besides the point. So then, yeah, I got really frustrated with people just not improving at all. And this wasn't even an issue with like having enough skill points or anything, but just silly stuff like, hey, don't stand in the red kind of stuff in raids where people were just like basically always dying. And it's just like, you can't complete it because of that. So I got really upset, and I made a lot of mistakes, of course, talking a lot of shit. And in my mind, I was just thinking like, well, I'm way better than this. I was super egotistical back then. Because at the time I was able to hang out with the bigger boys, let's say, and Senates and Mars was also one of them that ended up playing with the God mode people. For those who know them, so
they were the best.
Yeah, they were the best.
They were the best. They were better than us.
Yeah. So back then I didn't have any patience, and that led to a lot of drama. But I will say that if I did not leave, I would have been stuck in that guild and probably not ended up anywhere else. So I'm kind of happy in a way that was a drama queen, because I ended up moving along with Mars and Senates to another guild, which I can't remember, but that was the remainder of God mode, when God mode wasn't really as active anymore. And so like all the good players were in that league or guild, and then I ended up participating with a lot of things there. Now I've never been part of the A team, but I definitely was part of everything else. And as long as you were in the clan, it was super elitist and whatnot. You had to complete stuff or else people would be upset. And that's kind of where I left DC Universe Online, because at that point it was just like, well, I'm not really invited to the best team because they already have all their roles filled and stuff, and I wasn't part of it. So I wanted to play another game at that point, because my competitiveness could not even go, like it couldn't go any higher unless they would put me on the team, which they didn't. But rightfully so, because the team at the time, the best team, like Ares and stuff, there's just no way that I could ever compete with that. Top Irving as well. I think he was in that for a little bit before he quit too. And the biggest reason why I quit DC Universe Online is because they changed the combat system. Whereas it used to be very fast-paced, they made sure that people with enough skill points were more rewarded. And what skill points are, I'll explain as well, is random achievements. Let's say you get points for that, and with those points, you improve your attributes, let's say, and so therefore you'd have more damage. So at first, it wasn't really as much of a big deal, because if you were able to clip things fast, animation cancel fast, the faster you press the button, the faster you go through your rotation, the more damage you deal. So there wasn't as much difference between players if they had let's say, an extreme amount of skill points and you just had barely enough, as long as you just could press buttons fast. But then they changed to a system where you had to hold down buttons longer and have like a full animation going on, and then you press the next skill afterwards, which made it really slow paced. And then it was more rewarding for if you had higher skill points, because you deal more damage, and the combat is now all the same, where it's like very slow paced. So this meant that the game required less skill, and as long as you farmed more achievements, you could deal more damage than people that could actively press buttons faster, because the combat system was slower now. And that's the reason why I quit, because it was no longer to a certain degree skill based. Yes, and that's why I quit. I actually don't know why you quit, Frosty.
Yeah, I actually can go into that. You mentioned weapon mastery, so here's what I want to hit. I want to hit a little bit more of this drama.
Yeah, sure.
This actually stemmed from something. I want to go a little bit more into the drama in a little bit, and then I want to go into weapon mastery. And then from there, I think we can move on into post DCUO. But I want to grab another beer. Can we take a break? I want to take a leak. I want to grab another beer, and I want to keep digging into this stuff because man, I'm having a blast.
Same. I'll be right back. I'll put the beer back screen on. I'll also mute the Discord, and I'll just send you a message whenever, or just send me a message when you're ready, and I'll send you a message when you're ready.
Bro, let's do it. All right, I'll be right back.
Be right back. Yes.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Yes. Where were we even?
Well, I wanna touch on Zalzabub in your Discord, guys. Can we get a Discord link or whatever? If you guys want to join the snack farm, I've been checking it out. So Zalzabub dropped what beer he was drinking, so I kind of want to go over. So he's drinking a Yingling. I had a Yingling in my hand, and I had like a Moore's Refinery or whatever beer, and like a Bud Light. I'm like, I'm going with Bud Light. I need to hydrate. But what I was drinking right before or during the stream this whole time is actually a Pilsner. So I always get made fun of for drinking Pilsners. I fucking love these things, man. So this one's by OEC Brewery in Connecticut in the United States. So this is a great fucking Pilsner. It was at Our Total Wine, it had a rating of like 96 out of 100, I think. Anyway, it's fantastic. Great Pilsner. If you guys could ever grab one from Connecticut. I didn't know Connecticut made Pilsners. Drinking a Bud Light right now because I'm in Texas and yeehaw. Let's see.
Well then, cheers, coach. Yes, I'm drinking a random beer called Duff. I went to the grocery store. It was American Week. I picked up Coors Light, and I picked up this Duff beer. But I honestly don't like either because I'm from the Netherlands and we have quality beer there. What can I say?
So, bro, like, what? Yeah. Like, I didn't know you guys make beer like good.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fucking in, bro. Like, you don't got to tell me twice.
Yeah, the Netherlands and Belgium are really good, of course. Well, Germany, I guess, too. And I will say that it's really weird to me about how, like, majority of the times when people are not from the Netherlands, they're like, oh, dude, I'm drinking a Heineken and stuff. But if you ask any Dutch person, that's probably the worst beer that you can drink. We don't like Heineken whatsoever. That's always really strange to hear that people are, like, really excited to drink Heineken.
Yeah, man. Like, you and me need to talk beer sometime for sure. I'm trying to get more cultured in beer. Like, I'm actually really into whiskey. Irish whiskey's my thing, and I do Japanese whiskey as well. But
Japanese
man, I hit Scotch hard too. Fuck it, I hit all whiskey hard.
Yeah,
except for rye. I'm not really good with rye.
I'm not really too familiar with alcohol stuff, if I can be honest. My go-to drink has always been Jack Daniel honey. The regular Jack Daniels is not really that special, but the honey one I really do like. Yeah.
Can't do it, bro. I just can't do it.
I have no knowledge about like alcohol stuff and all that, so I'm really new. There is someone that I know. His name is I'm So Hoppy. He's a beer connoisseur. He also makes his own beer, and he does, I don't know, he studies that kind of stuff too. So it would be nice maybe to one day also have him included into this whole beer talk. That'd be really nice.
Oh, I'm So Hoppy, man. Get in the chat, bro. We need to talk. Yeah, man. So it's funny. So one night we'll get back to the DCUO. We'll finish off DCUO in a bit.
Yeah.
One night I called my buddy. It was on a Sunday morning. No. Saturday morning. So I have a buddy that actually is so into craft beer that he would drive to Austin, Texas like every couple months, and he'd go to an exchange. And what you do is you go find rare beer made in the United States or imported if you can find it, and you trade, like straight up trade. Like there's no money involved. It's just I'm gonna give you this beer for this beer. They do it all the time, and I'm like, oh man, I really want to get into beer. And so there was like, I was really trying to figure out like, do I want to try this like Icelandic beer? I really don't know. Like, do they even make good beer? I have no idea. So I called them, and I'm at a liquor store in the States, and he tells me about, oh man, what was it? Fuck me. Oh man, I can't think of the brewery. I'll figure it out in a bit.
Yeah.
But I remember the beer was called Bonita. They don't make it anymore. It's made in New York. And I end up getting like a fucking 6-pack of that. And it was so fucking good, dude. So it was an Indian pale ale, I think. I think it was a pale ale, I want to say. I can't even remember. But I get some of that, and then I get some Dogfish Head, 120 minute. So I get a 4-pack of that. And then I have a bottle of Redbreast. I have about a 5th. So I start playing Smite that next day, Sunday afternoon. I go and get some lunch or something, and I just play. I'm like, bro, I'm going to have a beer. Next thing I fucking knew, it's 4 a.m, and I'm throwing up in my sink, and I have to be at work at 7 a.m. And I'm like, what the fuck happened, dude? I was like, what the fuck happened? And then I look on my table, like I blacked out. I look on my table, and all 6 of those Bonitas were gone. They were empty.
Mm-hmm.
The Dogfish Head, which you're only supposed to have 1 or 2, they're fucking gone. And my bottle of Redbreast is empty. Just fucking empty. And then I go look at my screen, and my profile's up in Smite. And it's 16 losses in a row with Ares Jungle. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? And I went to work. That was the worst day of my life. Oh, man, that was fucking terrible. And I had to work overtime that day. Oh god, I still think about that day. It's been like 5 years. I still think about that day.
Jay Slayer said DF Head is like the steak of beers, though. Is it?
Which one? Okay, let me see. DF Head is like the steak of beers, though. Dogfish Head? Oh yeah, dude. No, it even tastes like fucking steak. Like it's so brothy.
Oh.
I like the one I had. I think I had the 120-minute IPA. But the one I like is Sunday Feels. So, actually, if you go look at Frosty Jams, my second album is called Summer Vibes. I think it's Summer Feels. I think I have them backwards. So, my album, I want to say it's Summer Feels. That's actually kind of named after the Dogfish Head one, because that was called Sunday Feels. There you go. And it had like a 1950s kind of like chill retro like design. Like, if you actually look up Dogfish Head Sunday Feels, like, man, it gives you the fucking vibes, dude. And it tastes fantastic. That is your steak of beers. Bro, that is the prime rib. That's the Wagyu prime rib of beers, is Dogfish Head Sunday Feels.
I'll have to try that then.
Oh, bro, it's great. If you can find it. I can't find it anymore.
Yeah. Is it expensive?
Anyway, yeah. Nah, I mean, well, I guess for a beer,
Import, right? I guess.
Yeah,
for
maybe.
us,
Yeah, I'm not sure about for you guys, but I mean, it's always going to be cheaper than you importing bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Know what I'm saying? And then you have a beer and you can chill and you drink it cold. Because if you drink a bourbon cold, you're going to have everyone from Kentucky pointing their guns at you. So, you know what I'm saying?
And Jay Slayer mentioned, speaking of Wagyu, have you ever had any? I've never had that, no.
Yeah, I've had Wagyu burgers. I've never had Wagyu steak. Let me ask you, Jay Slayer, is it? Okay, look, I'm from Texas, bro. I can grill, I can barbecue like a motherfucker. I don't know why, when I watch videos of people like making like a Wagyu brisket or people making Wagyu burgers, even though the fat looks fantastic, I feel like it's overrated. Is it overrated? I feel like it's overrated, bro, but I don't know.
I feel like most things are overrated in general, because maybe it's me, but like I do notice a difference in taste, but it's never significant enough for me to, like, let's say, afford to be wanting to spend an extra $20, let's say, dollars or something for for something that's a bit higher quality product. Same thing for restaurants as well. Like there are some really good restaurants for sure, but I can never really justify it with the prices. I feel like everything is a bit too overpriced for if they claim that they have quality and therefore price it that way. I don't know. Same thing with like steak and stuff and all that. You can have a really good steak and you could have an average steak, but I wouldn't necessarily pay that much extra for a small increase of quality. But maybe that's just me, because there's plenty of people that really enjoy the higher quality products in life, of course. But I'd never really for myself can't justify paying extra for that.
You know, I think with like every product, there's diminishing gains when it comes to quality.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for example, I actually have an actual anecdote. So my favorite like whiskey, hands down, is Redbreast. It used to be owned by the Jameson Company, and it's not anymore. So it's named after a bird in Ireland, the Redbreast. Okay, so their staple bottle is a 350 milliliter Redbreast 12. It's a 12-year Irish pot stilled whiskey. Fantastic, bro. It is fucking tastic. If you don't like whiskey, go get a Redbreast 12, and you'll be Irish by the end of that fucking bottle. It is so good. But here's the thing. There's a Redbreast 15 year, okay? There's a Redbreast 21. There's special editions like the single pot still, or they have the Lustau edition. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about Redbreast 15 year. There's the 21 year, which I love. The 27 year. Then there's the Dream Cask, which is a 28 year aged. I own the 12. I had the 15. I don't anymore. The 21 and the 27. The 27 is a ruby port aged Irish pot stilled whiskey. Every person, anyone who walks through my front door is allowed to drink that whiskey. It cost me $500. I got it for $100 off. It was a $600 whiskey. I will give anyone a taste of that whiskey. Everyone has told me 12 is better than the 27. And like it's all that hype and that markup that, oh well, it's aged in ruby port barrels. Okay, cool, whatever. Like the 12 is still better, so and everyone has their own taste. But yeah, I think there's diminishing gains, and I think that has to do with everything. Steak,
I think a good example for me would be where I would actually pay a little bit extra is sushi, because if you compare gas station sushi to like an actual restaurant sushi, then I think it's worth going for the restaurant sushi for sure.
Bro, yeah, dude, my wife and I just went through that. We have this new I kind of like them, the conveyor belt sushis. Like a lot of people wince at it, but sometimes it's like, well, I want a cheap option. I want to get like the fun sushi. Go in there, have fun. If they have like the animations, do the animations, and like the little ninja will pop out and kick someone's ass. Love it. But the new one I went to, it didn't have any of that, but it had like a little motor train that would bring your sushi out if you special ordered. And all the sushi cuts were gummy. Like they felt gummy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they were super small cuts. And it's like when I've gone to a real, sushi house where they do the fucking sushi boats and all that, and I usually get nigiri myself. I usually get I think it's unagi. That's my favorite. And so when you do that well, bro, it's fantastic. And I know I've never had one of what's his name? Jiro Dreams of Sushi. I'll never have that. But still, like, you are 100% correct. Like, I feel like sushi is one of those that you gotta get it good or you're not gonna like it.
For sure. Then I think an interesting topic would be Five Guys as well, because I've never had Five Guys, but some people will swear by it, and some people will say like, it's all right, it's a bit more expensive. But then I also think about it like this: like if I were to go to Five Guys, right, and spend that large amount of money, because it's a bit costly over here. I know what it's like over there. Then I would much rather than go to a proper restaurant where they can also make similar burgers or even better, right? But then again, some people say that Five Guys is really good. I wouldn't know. I haven't been there yet, but I don't think it's worth the price so far. Have you ever tried Five Guys?
Yeah, you got to think, like, is it hairy guys, tall guys, short guys? No, I'm kidding. No, Five Guys is overrated, bro.
Is it overrated?
It's overrated.
Yeah,
it's overrated. I mean, yeah, the burger's kind of okay, and like there's this thing I heard about online that you could get unlimited bacon in your burger. I don't know if that's true. I think it's overrated. I've had it. Like the burger's good and all, but it's like Their fries suck. The wait's very long.
Oh, wait a minute. You
Yeah.
said the fries suck. Because Jay Slayer just said, okay, Five Guys burgers are, man, a bit overpriced. However, the fries at Five Guys are amazing. They're like boardwalk style fries and taste great. Shots fired.
It might depend, because I've only been to one Five Guys and their fries sucked. So remember, I mean, it's a franchise.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Like, so we have, I don't know if you guys have Chick-fil-A where you're at.
No, I don't
We have.
think so, no.
Okay, so it's an American chain.
Yeah.
And all they serve is like chicken sandwiches, like chicken tenders, and it's a Christian owned company. So like everyone that works there is supposed to be Christian, but
I heard about the drama
don't
as
worry
well.
about
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like everyone always told me, bro, the waffle fries are fantastic. And I'm like, you're a fucking liar. No, they're not. But then like I went to a different Chick-fil-A and I'm like, bro, I've just been going to the ghetto Chick-fil-A. So that shit, I mean, like if you look how franchising works, I mean, that shit happens, dude. You just got poor leadership. It's almost like, yeah, Frosty is your fucking clan leader.
Yeah. So,
yeah, shots fired for sure.
So I feel it's also definitely what you mean about like different locations offer different quality. It's the same thing with KFC for sure, because we always say that the KFC is okay here in Europe, but when you mention KFC to an American, they usually tell you that it's really bad.
Oh yeah, it's dog shit.
Yeah. So KFC over here, I mean, it used to be a lot better, but now everything is gone downhill very fast. Like now it's not really that great. It's overpriced and stuff. It's not really worth it anymore. But back in the day though, the quality of KFC was really good, and also the portions. But I think just in general, the portions have gone a lot downhill due to like the economics of things, of course. But KFC definitely is a lot better over here in Europe. I think in general as well, McDonald's, Burger King and stuff is a lot better in Europe compared to the US. But that has to do with health standards probably or something. But that's a very common thing, yeah.
Now I wonder if this is part of it too. So Zalzabub, he said McDonald's is underrated. When it's the McRib, it is. So
wait, is it good? You think it's good?
I'll eat it.
Okay, yeah.
I ain't gonna say it's good. I'll eat it. Like, it's so sometimes there's stuff you eat where you're like, man, I shouldn't be eating this.
Yeah.
So Zalzabub posted a picture in your Discord of what he's drinking, which Spagooter, if you're drinking something you haven't posted in that Discord, bro, I am totally judging you right now. So he showed a Yingling. All right. Have you guys ever heard of Yingling at all?
Never, no. First time.
So Yingling is owned by Anheuser-Busch, which is a German-owned company that has distributors in St. Louis. Okay, so like Bud Light, Budweiser, whatever. If I'm wrong, Zalzabub, correct me. I sound more confident than I actually am. So in Pennsylvania, Yingling has always been available. We always called it like the Bud Light of the North, right? And so over there, it's just a $3 beer. Over here, it's a $6 beer here in Texas. And so I've always wanted to have Yingling, and I've never been to Pennsylvania. I've never been to the north to drink beer, at least. And so like when I found out we were getting Yingling down here because we got a new distributor, bro, I lost my shit. So I'm buying Yingling and I'm like bragging about it. And the military people down here are like, bro, that's like a $3 beer. Like, it's nothing to lose your shit over. I'm like, bro, Yingling's my fucking shit. And so the reason that is because of novelty, right? Like, if you guys drink Jack Daniels, you guys are, oh, fuck, this Jack Daniels. Bro, like, I'd probably drink my piss before I drink Jack Daniels. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the novelty. Like, let me ask you a question. So if we were to get a bunch of college people and sent them to Amsterdam, what would they lose their shit over?
To Amsterdam? Well, first of all, I have to say I dislike Amsterdam, but that's besides the point.
Okay,
they lose.
No, I think it's part of the point, right?
Yeah, but when people go to Amsterdam, they're probably like, "Oh my god, red light district, prostitution, whatever,
oh yeah,
marijuana, and all that kind of stuff."
Yeah, cue the Harold and Kumar movies, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because to us, that's novel. Like, even my wife was like, "Oh man, we should travel to Amsterdam sometime." I was like, "We're going to red light district."
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, hey, baby girl, you want your bread buttered? Like, it's like, it's like, but like over there, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
The Americans really have to come over here and ruin everything. It's novelty.
It's the thing about Amsterdam, more so why we don't like it is because I think, I might correct me if I'm wrong, someone from chat if they're knowledgeable about this topic, but I believe that it's been mentioned that there are more tourists than actual Dutch people there too. So like it's just one real tourist trap or whatever. It's just not nothing really left over that really stands out that much. Because when it comes to, for example, weed, you can get weed everywhere in the Netherlands, not necessarily Amsterdam. A lot of people don't know that, so therefore they just go to Amsterdam because it's the capital. But a fun fact is that like Rotterdam, where I'm from, is also a really big city, and it's more culturally diverse as well. And then you have The Hague, which is the political capital, let's say, of the country. So there are different cities that offer, I would say, a lot more than just Amsterdam. But a lot of people don't know that, so therefore they'll just go to Amsterdam. But if you go to Amsterdam, if you really want to get a taste of Dutch culture and whatnot, you'll kind of just get the tourist stuff mostly. And if you really want a Dutch experience, other than the architecture, because Amsterdam does have the architecture, you're better off going to other cities in the Netherlands. But a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, and it's probably like over here, anyone who hasn't been to America wants to go to like
New York,
Hollywood, and fucking New York City.
Yeah.
Like, I always had a buddy. He's like, "You're going to New York City on purpose?" Like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
terrified of New York, by the way, from all the stories of the crazy homeless people and stuff.
You should be. Fuck that, dude. Yeah, I'd rather stay here in Texas, man. A fun fact: a lot of people don't know Texas was a country for 9 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was.
I've had about Texas. That's probably I'm probably the most connected to Texas in a way compared to everywhere else in the U.S. And this is due to when I was, I think, between 16 and 18. I worked with a lot of people from Texas, Dallas, for music and stuff. It ended up not going too well, so I ended up not doing much after that. In fact, most of my music was used and nothing happened with it. So I was kind of disappointed, of course. But yeah, most of them were all based in Dallas, and so I was supposed to live there even. They offered me a job, but when it came to the details of like actually getting stuff together, that's when I stopped getting a reply. And then I was just kind of left alone, and then that kind of sucked because I was really banking on the fact that like, yeah, I can make music, and also then get a job there, and they provide the housing and whatnot, but they ended up not doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so I definitely want to talk about this in more depth if you'd like. I don't know if this like pisses you off. If this
No.
Okay, all right.
Ask away.
So you were 16, 17. So this was probably 2 to 3 years before you joined the league in DCO, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How did this Dallas company find you? Like, how did that happen?
Oh my God. I have to think about that. So for those that remember, or probably nobody even does remember this, but back in the day, Ludacris had his own website called Wemix. Y'all remember Wemix? Or no? Yeah. It was a platform. It was kind of like a SoundCloud type of thing, but it goes beyond that even. So the idea for Wemix, it was primarily hip hop related, but there were also other genres involved. Ludacris launched a website as a platform for artists to work together, where everyone could collaborate, and also they would do competitions and whatnot, and like the top people would get something, let's say. So it was a very nice platform that was kind of similar to SoundCloud, but a bit more because it offered more ways of connecting. There were also video clips involved, so it wasn't just audio, but you could also have video clips. The website I don't think it's up anymore, but it was called Wemix. And through that, I uploaded beats, and then people liked it because if I can give myself a tap on the shoulder, like I would like to think that I had a very unique style, because back in those days, old school hip hop was a thing, and you had like kind of the come up of like deeper bass kind of stuff, like the 808s that we know nowadays. That was kind of becoming a thing. Also, mostly due to Texas, I believe, because they really did that whole scene with like old trap, as we would call it, not the trap of nowadays, but trap from back in the day. And I'm pretty sure if you're from Texas, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yep.
So with that said, the Netherlands has had a very creative approach to like setting new trends and whatnot, and electric sounds were becoming a thing within hip hop, and that's what the Netherlands really set themselves apart with introducing these electronic type of sounds, which basically, if you think about it, is today's trap. But we did that way back then. I'm talking about like the Emily days, let's say. Like that's roughly around those times, I think. I don't know how old Emily is, but you can imagine that like old school hip hop from back then only had samples or you had stuff that was modern but not as popular, like Swiss Beats, which had very electronic-ish music sometimes too. Think about like I Get Money from 50 Cent, for example, that Swiss Beats also produced. You can hear like there's like a very aggressive synth. This is also back in the day of Lil Jon, and people definitely remember Lil Jon with the synths and all that too. So electronic sound was kind of new, and Remix had a lot of old school hip hop heads, and not a lot of people did the whole electronic sounds within hip hop, and I did. Dubstep was also coming up at the time, like at the early stages of dubstep, for the people that remember that. So they were very interested in my music, and they're like, oh wow, this is a completely different sound. And then I got approached by a company that I will not name because I don't know what I can and cannot talk about, but I was approached by a company from Texas, Dallas. They're like, hey, would you like to work with us, with the idea of like, hey, if you send in beats, we have artists that can rap on your beats, you guys can collaborate, and everything is going to be split fairly. Now, pretty sure that every artist has heard this before. That's how they get you, right? Like, you don't actually get anything. It's all just a bit on the basis of promises. So I didn't have any contracts or nothing, and I kept sending beats, and they had different artists. A lot of artists weren't really that great, so I wasn't too happy with the overall products that they were pushing. But there were a couple of rappers that I did enjoy working together with, and most of them actually dipped out of the whole project. And this was the project was going on for like a good 2 years or something, and most of them dipped pretty early on, and I was still trying my best with it because at the time I'm super innocent with the whole music industry, so I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know about contracts and all that. I'm just like, you know what, eventually I'll get my recognition, they're gonna fly me over to Texas, get housing and everything, and I'll be able to live off music. But then that didn't happen. And it even got to a point where there was a song on YouTube by some Mexicans that had then stolen the beat from me through that company, and then didn't credit me whatsoever, didn't even credit the company and all that. And I was pissed because I'm like, my beats are supposed to be protected by this company, right? Even though I never signed anything, it was always promised that they would take care of me. So then that song, I'm not gonna sit here and act like as if it was a platinum hit or anything. It really wasn't. But there were like thousands of views, and back in those days, it felt that was a lot for me, right? But I wasn't credited or anything, so I was really mad at him. I'm like, listen, I can't go on with this anymore because now my beats are actually being stolen. And it went on for a bit where some other stuff was also like being stolen, and no one was credited, and it was all due to like them basically leaking, because how they operated was very simple. I would send in the beats, and they would send it to a lot of people, but without any protection on my rights and all that. So it's just basically free to pick up for anyone, and then they didn't have to credit me because they don't even know who the source is because I wasn't credited. They just passed the beats around, and that's basically what happened with that company. And then I just stopped working with them after that.
Is this company still around?
No.
Have you ever looked them up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a company that would last long.
Not very long.
Yes. So let me see. We're 16, 17. This had to be 13 years ago.
Oh, sorry. So I was reading the chat. What did you say?
This had to be about like 13 years ago, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2011.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough, dude. Yeah. There's a lot of shady shit going on in the music industry. I'm trying to do something different with it. So like a lot of people. So my neighbor, she I met her when I moved in, and she has two sons that are DJs, and I didn't know they were DJs. Like I had just moved in. She's like, hey, what do you do? And I go, well, I work on computers. Like that's all I tell her. Work on computers, and I own my own business. And she's like, oh, what do you do for your own business? And I was like, well, I ghostwrite. Well, I get ghostwriters to write music, and I produce them, and I provide them, for free. She's like, you take credit for the music? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's wrong. And I'm like, well, someone has to protect the copyright. Like, like I buy the music in bulk. I pay whatever the price the people want. I try to negotiate. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work.
What? Oh. 1 second. We're having technical difficulties. Is it my internet? I'm still live, right? Yeah, I'm gonna hide his thing real quick. Oh, Discord is... Huh. Hang on. I have been disconnected from Discord, it appears. I'm not sure as to what to do right now. I think I'm still live, right? Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to go to the bear back screen. I'm going to check out what I can do about this.
Yo, can you hear me?
Hello, hello. Yeah. Apologies, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think it just DC'd. All right, we're good.
Okay, I think also my stream stopped for a second because I noticed I had no upload. Okay. Yeah, I'll put it back up. One moment. Okay. Here we are. Yes, we have returned. Sorry. Who is this cute little raptor? Okay, so I think I missed a lot of chat. This is Frostysauruswrecks. Yes, I'll give him a shout out as well. Fellow streamer. And also he currently providing the music that you can see over here. Yes. I will put some links into chat as well. Or actually, do you happen to have it ready where you can yeah, okay, you can post everything if you want.
I gotcha, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, for the newcomers, thanks for you know, tuning in. This is Ziz's I guess new podcast.
Yes.
So he invited me. This is, you know, I'm really happy to be here, and I just wanted to drop like some of the new projects that I worked on. So I actually have a 24/7 Lo-Fi Girl live stream trying to compete with Lo-Fi Girl. So all this music's free. You can use it for whatever you want. You just can't re-upload it. That's the only thing you can't do, and you can't use the animation.
Yeah.
So right there, that's what I just linked is that's the 24/7 live stream in whatever online music store you have, except for SoundCloud, just because my distributor and SoundCloud, I don't know, they have a piss measuring contest, but you can listen to it. So I'll drop that into.
Yeah, and indeed the link is is pinned to the top of chat as well. His Twitch and his Discord.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Okay, so like what I was getting at, long story short, is, you know, she was saying, oh, you know, you should really give them credit. I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to give them credit, but I own the copyright. So that's kind of like a weird take nowadays. But the problem is I'm the one taking on all the risk, right? I've already had to issue a court order. Now, not on the music side. On the music side, it almost happened, but I ended up just taking the loss. But on the video editing side for YouTube, I actually issued a court order to an editor. I had an editor completely scam me, go to YouTube and say I copyright struck him. So I was like, all right, motherfucker, we're going to court.
Yeah.
So that actually happened, but yeah, he ended up backing down. Pretty much because I was like, I'll go to court for frivolous shit. I don't care. Anyway, so yeah, so the music industry, yeah, it totally sucks, man. And it sucks to hear what happened to you because your beats are so good. Do you think you have a future at all in music?
No, and the reason, there's a specific reason for that, is because when it comes to music, right, either you're very lucky or you're not. That's how I feel about it. And it also depends on how you approach a career. For me, I took the wrong approach and I paid the price for it. Like, I'm nowhere with music, but I feel like it's just too much. It's too much having to rely on other things. Like, for example, even if I wanted to do my own thing and not necessarily involve other people, right? Just having myself on Spotify and whatnot, or all the other things, like, yeah, I have to work with another company, and then I have to somehow advertise myself, and it's just a whole lot of work for a maybe. So with streaming, however, I feel like it's a bit different. I feel like if I have enough input for myself, I can get something out of it, whether if it is following a career or other goals for streaming. I feel like it's a lot easier to do solo than music. Music, I feel like you really do have to work with other people, network and all that, and it's just too much of things that I don't really care for at the moment. So I just figured, man, like, you know what, I'm going to not really quit music, but I'm just gonna make music for myself. And if anything happens, it happens. But I'm gonna make music for myself primarily.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of skill. Like, my favorite track to date is 77. That's the best one, guys. On chat, I don't know if you've heard 77. You probably have. That's my favorite one.
I can play that, or at least I can.
Yeah, bro, play that shit. Yeah, you own it, so
be fine. If I can find it. Okay, 1 sec.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, hey, Jay Slayer. Yeah, I've been streaming for a while. I don't know, dude. I think I'm like more of a boomer. Not really a boomer. I'm just a really late millennial, but I don't really attract like a gaming audience. Like a lot of times when I play Smite, people come in and they go, "You're not good." It's like, yeah, motherfucker, I got a family and I work a fuck ton of hours. Like I'm surprised I can even log in. Really, like I like just hanging out with my chat. But like I didn't hit discoverability hard. Like if I could go back and do it over again, I would have created a YouTube and I would have hit that fucking hard. That's really, and so that's what I'm trying to put Zizis to do here, because I think he has something good here, man. Like look, we got 3K followers. I mean, he has 16 people in here. I think at peak we had almost 30. He has a lot of support in here, and I think if he can hit that discoverability, like man, he's providing content 24/7. So I'm really glad to be a part of it.
That's kind of where I this is also 77, by the way, the one that he mentioned. I think the biggest problem of mine is honestly that like I'm enjoying Twitch streaming so much that I forget about the other platforms that I should be using for discoverability. So like for example, posting some stuff on YouTube or even TikTok. TikTok is also a great way to be discovered. It was mentioned earlier as well by Coyote in chat. But yeah, I don't know why I'm not doing it. I'm kind of slacking in that regard.
Yeah, and it's because so I work with a lot of corporate people, and like whenever a corporation creates like a social media team, they always think, and I fall into this too, they always think like, if I do X, does it give me Y? So if I put together a social media team and I have to pay them, and they always think per head, right? Like this is costing me, let's just say 70,000 per head per year, and I have a team of 4 people, right? So that's costing me what? I can't math. 28,000. I don't fucking, or 280,000. Like, what am I getting for this? And like, am I getting 10% more followers per week per month? In the thing is, it's not rational that way. Because it's funny, it's weird that I say that, because you're dealing with humans. No, you're creating a brand, but the thing is, nowadays people are sick of the corporate bullshit. People don't want to see, bro. People don't want to see the logos and the "we're a family" and like work with us and we do things the right way. They don't want to see that shit. They want to see humans, right? They want to see people that think like them. Like everyone's sick of the corporate shit, and so it's actually funny. Like by creating that team and making them humanize your corporation, you're not going to see the logo. Not going to get a 10% growth of followers. It's not like that. What you're doing is you're actually kind of playing with that human mind aspect. Like I heard a quote once where it's like, the first time you see something, you don't even notice it. The second time you see it, you recognize it. The third time you see it, you acknowledge it. And it takes more times before you follow it, right? And it's one of those where it's like, when you're creating that YouTube, you're going to see only 3 people saw it. Like I was telling Spagooter the other day, I spent 7 to 8 hours working on one of my YouTube videos, putting memes, making it funny and everything. I got 18 fucking views for 8 hours, 0 subs, 0 follows. But the thing is, it's like when you accumulate it, you're kind of like renting space in your followers' heads or future followers' heads. And so like I try never to look at the numbers, but it still hurts, man. Like I'm still not there.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's really rough. It's also, I've noticed that in general, it's kind of difficult to attract an audience on YouTube with videos and all that, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the attention span over the years has gone downhill very fast, where like a lot of people prefer just like a 10-second joke rather than an elaborate setup that leads up to maybe something more funny. People rather just have a Vine boom in it, and it's like, oh my god, this is wonderful because it has a Vine boom in it, kind of stuff. So like, the attention span is a lot lower, and I've noticed this in particular. I've talked about this topic with a lot of people in regards of Elder Scrolls Online videos, where the ones that do really well are the ones that are really snappy in terms of comedic timing and whatnot, and just really short jokes. The whole like, yeah, keg W, indeed, like that kind of stuff, or the fine boom sound effects, and just make videos that way with like a punchline every 5 seconds, because people will stay for that. But having a video up where you're having a long story for like half an hour that might be interesting for like older people, it will not attract the younger people because they just cannot sit there for that long. How do you feel about that?
No, yeah, I think you're right. And the thing is, I think we've always been that way. We just didn't know it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, kind of as the marketing side of our digital industry, like we learned over time, but it took so long to learn. Because yeah, back in what was it, like 2006 to 2009 or whatever, Vines.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't 2006. I'm old. But yeah, Vines were popular always. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, go look back in the 1970s, 1980s. What did everyone buy a newspaper for? For the funnies in the back. Guess what? The funnies were 6 fucking pictures. That's why meme base was so big in 2010.
Yeah.
It's because we like eating snackable content. But YouTube videos were big because there was no alternative. And Vine Vine was a problem because of how the company was run, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the case. And so now people are learning about snackable content, but I think snackable content's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Memes have always been snackable. And so, yeah, I think I'm not adapting very well to it. I should. But it's funny to provide that small of content, to provide 6 very tiny videos that go on your phone and that have like one meme, one major edit, one major punchline, actually takes more effort than me just making a highlight video of my stream where 18 people are going to watch anyway.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And Spagooter also mentioned an old study found that most modern music is on average 3 minutes because of the attention span we have. Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely an old study, but from when I tried to kind of like do my own research or whatever, I found out that a lot of people, this is during the XXX Tentacion, however you pronounce his name, time, where like a lot of songs even went as down as like maybe 1 or 2 minutes at most even, and that seemed to be hitting very well because it's just it's a short amount where you can keep people interested, but not long enough where people will fall off. So I think it's even less now even. Okay, Jay Slayer said, yeah, my son was complaining about songs that are 6 minutes long and having to suffer through songs that were too long. Yeah, no, I'm the same way, man. Like, for those that are a regular in my stream, you guys know if there's a video that I have to watch or listen to a song, I generally tend to skip through because I also feel like a lot of it is irrelevant. Like, I don't want to listen to a 1 minute build up. I just want to maybe have a little bit of a build up and then already get to the point. But this is the same thing with like how I feel about education, for example, where like, oh, they want you to write an essay with 4,000 words where I can basically write it in 1,000 and I don't feel like extending it. I feel the same way with consuming videos and music where like, I don't want to go through the whole bullshit of like listening to a build up for 2 minutes when I can just skip it. So yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And like, the only problem is for us to survive or even thrive, we have to adapt.
Yeah.
We have to make that, I'm going to say it, Zalzabub, snackable content. Now what we're doing is the opposite. We're creating content that's long form in this podcast right now. But you know what though? I think there's a strategy. You know, it's like balance in all things. There's a strategy where long form works. When I'm at work, like I don't think it's a secret to say I am a software engineer. I code for a living. And when I'm at work working 9, 10, sometimes 12, 14-hour days, I need long form content. Snackable fucking, quick content like completely fucks with my when I'm in the zone. And so what I do is I actually watch full court cases, like murder cases, like live streamed online. I could go through a full court case in like a week. and that's good for me. Or like I'll listen to lo-fi, like the lo-fi girl shit, right? I'll listen to that all fucking day, dude. I'll listen to a whole fucking catalog. Or, I'll watch someone live stream a full playthrough of a game.
Yeah.
And so for the working people, that's good. But when people are at home, so it's almost like I wonder if there's like a way you can time it, right? On releases. Like you time long form content on a Sunday night when people have to go to their soul crushing jobs. But then you release that really quick content like at night when everyone's getting off work for your target audience. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Yeah. And Jay Slayer mentioned not start like a generational thing, but these younger generations have really poor attention span. However, I think they're being taught to have a lessened attention span. I also agree. Yes. It's just
get off my lawn, you little fucks. No. I agree too. And there's a whole nother conversation of like the educational system too.
Yeah.
That I won't get into. I definitely won't get into that shit. But yeah, you got kids watching like Coco Melon and shit. Come on. Yeah, it's rough, man. And like people like us, because Jay Slayer, you're a streamer too. Like we have to adapt or we're gonna be irrelevant. But that's only if we're trying to make this our main gig.
Yeah.
But like Zyzus and I were talking, like this is a hobby, and it is a medium where we can meet with our customers. You guys are our customers, and that's not a bad thing, right? Our followers being our customers is not a bad thing. We provide content, you consume content, you give us feedback, and we provide better content. We make sure you're happy. By you consuming the content, you make us happy. You give us a purpose, right? And same for you, Jay Slayer. You're a content creator as well.
Oh, Jay Slayer actually doesn't stream yet, but he's planning on starting streaming.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So remember everything I said, forget it for now, and then remember it when you start streaming. Then you go, oh, that raptor. Nah, I'm full of shit. Anyway, so yeah, dude, we got way off topic, bro. Okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about DCUO anymore, but what I want to say is, yeah, so apparently you rage quit again. And so that was on May 4th. Yeah, so you rage quit for the final time, but believe it or not, it was not because of the clan, it was because of Game Update 3. You said,
oh, really?
This, you were out. Yeah.
Oh.
And Rumpler quit because his subscription ran out, and Jax's computer broke, and she never gamed again.
Oh damn, I remember Rumpler. Yeah, Rumpler was a very nice person too, right? From what I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the problem was DCUO released 2 bad releases in a row. Now, a lot of people liked it, so my biggest problem was in the forums. You know what? Like, one thing, for my followers know this. I don't follow mainstream anything, not because I'm a fucking hipster or anything. It's just, dude, like the whole, I don't know, the whole new content masturbation consume product thing.
Yeah.
Like Marvel. Like, oh, the newest Marvel movie's out. Oh, dude, there's gonna be this new fucking dude. The Marvel movie started sucking after Iron Man 1. Don't at me. But also like with DCUO, I felt it was the same way. I was always on the forums, and everyone was like, oh, the new Wonder Woman content's amazing. That content was dog shit. And it wasn't because it's Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman. Like, I think they dropped the ball with all the Greek gods that they could have put in there. With Zeus, like, I know they put in Zeus after a while, after I quit. That looked like shit. Like, you could have easily done fucking great stuff with Poseidon and Zeus and all that shit, and they completely dropped it. So you rage quit because of that. I rage quit right after I one-on-one Warzone in an Ice DPS competition. I beat him with lesser like loadout and with lesser armor, and so I quit. And it was during a Wonder Woman raid, and I never went back in. And so in 2015, Wicked started going back to work with Stop Perving in the raids. And he was like, oh, we need somebody. I'm like, bro, like, I'm looking for a job right now. I'm done with DCUO. And so, yeah, I looked for a job, and I ended up working that. And then from there, I moved into software engineering and pretty much never looked back.
If I can bring up something, it was because of DC Universe Online that I started realizing what the gaming industry was headed towards. Because later on in life, I really picked up on the fact that like gaming content in general is being dumbed down. I touched upon this subject earlier, or may have been before the podcast. But for example, the combat system slowing down to a point where casuals could compete in terms of damage, that kind of stuff became a very common thing in most games, and therefore it wasn't as fun for me, and that's why I eventually quit. But another thing, another topic, Jay Slayer asked a question for me. So you say you want to focus on building a community of people that are here for you in the community. However, you say you won't stream Hearthstone BGs ever, even though you love the game. How do you marry those two concepts together when they're in direct opposition to one another? Well, that's the thing, is the way that that I choose the games that I stream is like, if I personally like a game, but I know that nobody cares for the game, it's a game that I can always appreciate off stream. So I then choose to not stream it, and I'll just play it off stream, and it's completely fine. Because streaming at the end of the day requires me to meet halfway with viewers as well. Like if I stream something but there's no interest in it, then what's the point of streaming if I want to grow my community, right? So but also that doesn't necessarily mean that I only stream what works in terms of getting people, because then I would be streaming Elder Scrolls Online, for example. So I've tried to find a balance there as to like what can I stream that people will still hang out for. So like, for example, Bannerlord, most of y'all don't even play Bannerlord, but it's nice enough to have as a background thing while I talk about whatever I want to talk about. Or you know as well that if there is a game that that I'm really into, if I find myself to talk about a topic that I'm really passionate about, I will actually pause the game too and then talk about it. And I'm willing to drop viewers just to talk about a topic that I'm passionate about, and that's okay. But if it ever gets to the point where I have no one, for example, Minecraft Dungeons long time ago, right, where I didn't have anyone in chat, then it's like, okay, I have to realize that like, okay, but people really don't care about this as much, so like I'll meet halfway and provide a visual for the background that people can stick with, and then do the thing that I want to do and talk about like life or whatever. You know what I mean? He also mentioned Kenshi doesn't seem to fit the mold then, which is something you've streamed. Hearthstone has 9.5 million followers and Kenshi has like 95k followers. The audience will be large for growth in Hearthstone BGs. Yes and no, because if you really want to get into streaming and make it a career, there are things like average viewer ratio. So like how many streams are there versus how many viewers does an average stream have. Now Hearthstone is a very popular game, and as you said, it has 9.5 million followers, but because you're competing with so many other people, the chances of you actually growing in it is a lot less. Whereas, for example, Bannerlord, for example, is the best example, the most recent example that I can give. I streamed Bannerlord and I was #1 of the category at one point because it's a smaller category, so I'm easier to find as well. So ideally, if you're growing in streaming, if you really care about the career aspect of streaming, you wanna be in a category where you're at the top 3 rows, let's say, of streaming, so people can find you a lot easier. If you're just starting streaming and let's say you stream a game like World of Warcraft and you have 0 viewers, you have thousands, well maybe not thousands, but hundreds of other streamers that you have to compete against in order to be discoverable. So that's why like I have to make a sacrifice of like, what can I still interest people with versus what do I want from my stream. So that's the long story. Yeah.
Yeah, not only that too. So one of my favorite games is War Thunder. I like playing simulator battles, and none of my viewers like to watch it because, you know, I could be flying for 30 minutes before I find an enemy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I try to fight that enemy, I don't know if anyone's here is into like flight sims, but sometimes you gotta maintain your energy. You can burn energy diving on a plane. If you do it wrong, you're gonna rip your fucking wings off. That doesn't really make good for streaming content. Now some people like that, but I haven't really found those viewers. So one of my favorite games to play is War Thunder, and I don't play it on stream because I've started a community. And by starting a community, even though you're the one who started it, it's not all about you. It's not you play what you want to play and everyone watches you, right? But it's also not you play what everyone wants to play, because if you have 20, or like we have what, like 20 something followers in here, you got 20 something viewers, they want to watch you play 25 different things, right? So that feedback's not there either. So the way I've been trying to see it, and I've grown multiple communities. This growing a Twitch community is where I've been probably the worst at. Is you know, the community is a two-way street, and I think, if you've started a community, there's inherent leadership there. And so sometimes, like, starting a community and being a good leader of that community is allowing other people to succeed too. So, kind of like, when we were doing this DCUO thing and, other people were trying other stuff, like people started to try to stream then. I was always trying to push them to do that too because, as a good leader, you want your people to be successful. You want your community to be successful. Like I think Zyzus wants every one of you to be successful in your endeavors. And so sometimes it's like, well, maybe I won't play that game, but maybe you will, and I'll add you to our community, stream block or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just the thought.
Yeah, definitely. And Jay Slayer's final words for that topic was, that makes sense. Didn't quite think about it from the angle. Big fish, small pond approach. Yes. Yeah. So the tip that I can't, well, actually, there are some tools available. I think I'll type it into chat. For example, there's a website that's really good with statistics for streaming certain games and whatnot. If you're into that, you can Google Sully Gnome and you can look through a lot of that if you want to look specifically for a category where you could maybe grow in. There's also a recommendation for what game you could play. But keep in mind though that it's not really that well developed, but it is something to start off on if you really care about that kind of stuff. I used to, when I did want to pursue a streaming career, I used that tool a lot to see what I could do better and stuff and whatnot, and which categories I would have a higher viewer ratio. So that. Also, a big thing about streaming in general is networking, because a lot of people, this is the most common mistake that I've seen. People always ask me like, man, but I want to start streaming, but I keep having low viewers. It's because you're not really networking, and it's the same thing as any other job. You need to like interact with other people. Not only that, because then they get to know you and they might visit your stream and whatnot, but just in general, that's how algorithms work on every type of platform. If you interact with a lot of other things, you will notice that suddenly you're on a recommended streamer list of Twitch. That's actually been a thing. There have been several occasions where I didn't know someone was streaming and they were a viewer of mine, but because they were everywhere and all that, Twitch then recommended them to me on the list. So when I was looking at like, oh, who can I raid? Suddenly I see a name that sounds familiar. Like, oh, I didn't know they streamed. And then you're on the algorithm. It's because you're really active and actively networking as well. So that's a big thing. I think a lot of people don't really put in the effort into being a part of other people's communities as well. Yeah. And Zalzabab mentioned almost every single occupation comes down to networking. Yeah, it's my biggest failure in multiple areas. Same thing for me, man. Like, because I was so passionate with Elder Scrolls Online, I was in so many streams, and I would have 7 streams open at the same time, and I can actually deal with that with having multiple audio things. Like, that's fine for me. So I would hang out in multiple people's streams, and not because I had the idea of like, oh, I can, I want to grow in streaming, but just because I had now gotten myself into so many different communities that I all loved. Like, I still hang out in multiple people's streams, and if I'm in your stream, the chances are that I'm probably in multiple other streams because, yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess that's just how I am. But if you look at it from a career perspective, networking helps a lot. I don't know exactly, I'm kind of ranting, but not really being precise with things, but basically networking, yes.
Yeah, and Zalzabab, so if you ever come to my stream, I have a lot of software engineers that follow me, or IT personnel, but I have others. Like one of the guys, he actually is a truck mechanic, and we talk a lot about like careers and networking. So networking, I'm actually pretty bad at as a streamer, but in my normal day job, I'd like to think I do pretty well. So we do a lot of talks about like career growth. We actually do. I don't know if you've ever heard of a scrum. I don't mean like in rugby, but that's the idea, is that you get a team of like similar roles like software engineers, IT, and they scrum. It's like a huddle. It's not really a huddle, it's like butting heads, but they each give an update and roadblocks. And so we actually do that on my stream. So like I get a lot of engineers or IT people, mechanics, really people who like to work on physical things, and they give me their updates of the week and whether they have roadblocks. And so we always call it a scrum. I also, so for you people who are in careers, Zyzus, I'm gonna drop a link.
Okay, yeah.
Oops, I fat fingered that. But the daily scrum.blog, I actually have a blog where I talk about software engineering, but I think some of it could actually go towards careers as well. Um, Coding is one of those failures. Not a problem, dude. Nobody's actually really that good at coding. Everyone lies. But yeah, like so I talk about a lot of career stuff. So if you ever want to come in and chill, I have YouTube videos called Dev Talk and Fireside Chat. I actually stole that from Zyzus, so I love the idea, honestly. So I love what we're doing here.
Yeah. So far so good.
Yeah, man. So I think you asked earlier, and I wanted to touch on it. So my pro gaming wasn't. I don't want to call it pro. Let's call it esports.
Wait, before you continue, can you hold that thought? I really need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it.
Okay, I'll be right back. Should I just leave it on the beer back screen and we just pause, or do you want to keep on?
Leave it up. I'll talk to Chad, man.
Okay, sounds good.
This is good.
And I'm going to quickly stop my cam. Yes. Okay, I'll be right back.
So does anyone in chat, anyone want to talk about like what they do for a living? And if you're a student, that's cool too, man. When Zyzus and I were rumbling on the DCUO, battlegrounds, bro, I was in college. It's just how it is. Gonna make a drink? Hell yeah, dude. Just school? I'm gonna call you Itch. So Itch, what are you studying? I did computer science, and then for my first master's, like humble brag, right? I have 2 masters. I don't use them, so I just went into debt. For my first master's, I did national security for the U.S. Not really using that at all. And then for my second one, unmanned systems design for like aircraft. Not really using that either. Oh, normal school? Okay. Just the plain old normal school. Cool. What do you want to do? What's your aspirations? And Zalzabub, what do you do, man? Spagooter, I know what you do, bro. I don't think we could say that in chat. I think that's illegal. You got a master's in stuff with a focus on things. Homie, we know you make a lot of money on feetfinder.com. Yeah, man, this was fun. This podcast was fun. I had a blast. So guys in chat, I mean, we got like 16 plus people in chat. What do you guys think? Is this are you guys digging this podcast, or is this something you guys want to see Zyzus do more of? Maybe more topics, more different people. I maybe want to do psychology, but I'm not good enough in school for that. What do you mean you're not, bro? Come on. What do you mean you're not good enough? You're good enough. I mean, you'll be fine.
Well, hello.
Do you think psychologists got it all figured out? What's up, man?
I've missed some chat, I see. What are we talking about?
I'm asking these guys what their aspirations are. So Zalzabob says, my failure in programming was the networking side. Self-taught and reclusive by nature made me far too independent. There was also a lot of money at risk, other people's. So I had a problem trusting others to hold up their end of the bargain. So Zalzabob, just so you know, one of my subscribers and loyal followers is kind of a recluse by nature too, self-admittance. And he does hardware work. I'm going to tell you right now, I have worked with software engineers that are getting paid a lot of money that do not know how to create a socket to socket TCP connection. They don't even know how to spell UDP, bro. You'll be fine. I don't think you should give up if that's something you want to do. And the risk of people on the company side, bro, that's why the US banks are failing right now anyway, man. You don't study. I didn't study. I didn't fucking study, bro. Just fake it till you make it, bro. All right, so hey, Zyzus, yeah, I asked them if they like this podcast. I haven't got the feedback yet.
Oh,
yes. But I'm digging it, bro. Like from my point of view, this is fun.
Yeah, this has also always been a dream of mine because I love doing this kind of stuff, and I've always wanted to collaborate with other people. However, it's always been a matter, just like for people that play games and play within a guild where they plan stuff. It's just real life always comes first, and that's very understandable. And it's just for a lot of people, it's really hard to plan these kind of things. Not everyone wants the same thing either. Like some people just want to stream for fun, and then for themselves mostly, where it's just like, oh, they just want to stream for fun. So finding the people that want to do this kind of stuff is one thing, but it's another thing to actually do it, and finding people that actually will do it is a lot harder. Yeah. But so they have their reasons, of course. They have their reasons.
Yeah. So let's get value out of this. Let's get a good 20 minutes in. Let's squeeze whatever valuable topics we can, and then maybe we could just save it for another time.
Esports. Oh, actually, you want to save the esports for the other time then? We can just talk about whatever now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so Itch says you make this on Spotify or something like that. Do I make what? Are you talking about the
podcast,
Beat Lab?
right? I think
we could talk about the Beat Lab.
The Beat Lab can also.
The podcast.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude, I don't know. So like, the podcast I made was just YouTube, and so we were gonna move to Buzzsprout. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard of that. Buzzsprout.
Yeah. Buzzsprout, it's a competitor to Spotify, and they offer like infrastructure to do podcasts, but you got to pay. That's the problem.
So I'll just read this out real fast. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting software that provides businesses with tools to create, publish, and promote podcast episodes across various platforms. Supervisors can monitor and gain an overview of episode downloads, listener locations, and other metrics via actionable analytics. Yes.
That our plan was we were going to try to get a full NFL season's worth of podcasts and then move them to Spotify. No one was going to listen to. See, the problem with doing sports related updates is no one gives a shit what you said after the game already happened. So it was really fucking competitive, and everyone and their mom has a fucking prediction, and so that was really freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
And so I had to call it quits because it was on Saturday mornings. At that point, the Thursday games already happened. It was a fucking mess. So I had to call it quits on that. What I like about this Spotify is you can listen to this shit in 5 years, and it doesn't even, it's timeless, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be fucking drama in MMOs, and by the way, the gaming industry fucking sucks. Oh, and corporations are greedy. Whoop-de-doo, big surprise, right? It's timeless. I love it.
Yeah. Same thing talking about music and stuff, music careers and all the details of streaming, that will be timeless as well because it's always the same stuff.
Yeah, music industry is always going to suck. This is just dinosaurs and some dude, some Dutch dude had problems.
to touch upon music once again, I was in a music school / university thing. What the main reason why I quit was because a lot of people there were just snakes, and not the good kind of snakes that we have in this stream, of course, because yes, snack community, but snakes. And what happened was, a lot of times we would have some kind of like rapping circles and whatnot, and the producer would play a beat. People would be freestyling and whatnot because it was a hip hop oriented music school thing, or at least the portion that I was in, mostly bands and stuff. But then you had a hip hop portion as well. And whenever someone would rap and all that, they'd be like, "Yo, yeah, this is dope." But then the moment they would leave the circle, they'd be like, "Yeah, that dude sucks. He'll never make it." That kind of stuff. So I really didn't like the environment, and that's why I kind of quit that as well. On top of the fact that I wasn't learning much because my teacher he literally said, like, "I can't really teach you much. The school is mostly for networking and whatnot." I'm like, "Well, I came here for music knowledge," which for people to simplify it, let's say I wanted to improve my audio quality of my songs, because mixing and mastering, as it's called, is definitely not a strength of mine. So I came there for that type of knowledge, but I should have gone to a more technical school with like studio work and all that, because what I went to was more for networking. I didn't know that, but
audio engineering.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's what I should have been going to instead of a music school or a university, whatever.
Yeah, see, me, I thrive in that kind of environment, like where everyone's fucking shitty, because maybe I'm fucking shitty too. Like, I always think of it like, like the fighter pilots would say, "Get your fangs out."
Yeah.
Like in that kind of environment, I get my fangs out. Like I'll take a motherfucker. Like if I want something, I'll try to take it, and it sounds terrible, but it's gotten me in hot water. Like my life goal was not to be a fucking streamer, and it wasn't to write code. Like I wanted to do other stuff, and I got too competitive, and I got too cutthroaty, and it ended up me losing the slot. What I wanted to do, we could talk about that at some other point. But yeah, man, like I like to thrive in that environment, and I think that's why in DCUO, like I was kind of secretly for the drama, because it's get your fangs out,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not for everyone. Like sometimes someone's just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
But I think in the music industry, it really is get your fangs out or ghost write. And so I work with a lot of the ghost writers, and you could tell they are burned fucking out with the industry, bro.
Yeah.
They're burned out. They don't want to deal with that shit anymore. They just want to live comfortably and have weekends off and like the artist that shout out to Enrico Camara, the one that did the animation for the Lo-Fi Girl there, Lady Frost. He bro, part of his contract was I don't work on weekends, and I was like, bet, let's go. Yeah. Because he liked having a life, and he had like this kind of like bullet point layout in the bottom. I'd love to show it to you, but I really don't think I should, because there's a contract between me and him. Okay. And the bullet points at the bottom pretty much said, look, you're not going to treat me like trash. I'm an artist, I'm a human being, I can only do as much, and like I'm not like that at all, bro. Not from my point of view. I'm like, bro, you're doing me a solid doing this art for me. Your asking price is totally cool. And so yeah, man, I think a lot of artists deal with a lot of bullshit. And I think from my point of view, from my company, I'm trying to change it. Like I'm trying to also start a software company at some point, not now because I can't afford it. But when I do, I want to flip it on its head, man. All this, oh, you got to go into the office and, you got to go into the company culture. Like all that's bullshit. I want people to work from home. There is going to be no central location of where we work. You're going to work from home. You're going to work in your safe environment. Oh, and hey, if you don't fucking deliver, I'm going to lay you off.
Yeah.
But like, it's an understanding. It's like, this is a two-way street, baby. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's my rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
No worries. Jay Slayer has a very interesting question that I can definitely talk about for a very long time too. But however, we do have to cut it short. I can definitely give a quick my quick rant about that. Jay Slayer asked, are there any games releasing soon that you're super hyped about for both of us? I will definitely say that, like, I don't really get hyped very fast anymore for games, but this is due to like,
yeah,
I can kind of look at what do you call that, the bare bones of a game, right? Like I don't really feel like a lot of games innovate anymore, and it's just recycled for me. So things that, like, he did say in the what's it called, parentheses, whatever, yes, other than Dark and Darker is a game that is coming out soon as well, that offers something that hasn't really been done at all, other than Escape from Tarkov. It's a fantasy Escape from Tarkov that is first person in a dungeon and whatnot. This means that you go into a dungeon to get other players, you do PvE, you can PvP, and if you die, you lose all your loot and you have to extract as well. So that's the short story for that. Now the reason why I am hyped up for that is because it offers something that hasn't been done before, which is like a medieval type of Tarkov kind of game. And that's why that's more so what I'm looking for. I'm looking for games that offer something new. But for the majority, also with MMOs in particular, it's just been recycled of like, okay, here's an open world, you can siege, there's an arena based thing, and then you have separate PvE. But I'm really looking for unique features for games to really be hyped up about. It's the same thing with like Diablo. Let's say I don't really have that much of an interest, because I feel like it will probably play the same as the other games, which is fine for some people, but it's just not what I'm looking for. So with that said, how do you feel about that, Frosty? And what games are you interested in?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I never get overhyped. Like we were talking about Marvel earlier, where it's just like everyone gets overhyped and it's always fucking garbage. I think a lot of the games that are going to come out, look, I'm going to be real, are going to disappoint me, or going to disappoint a lot of y'all. You guys just don't know it yet. But there are some games I am interested in and even leaning on excited about. So Diablo 4, I already know is going to let me down, but right now I'm pretty excited. So the reason I say that is I streamed it last night. Sorry for anyone who actually came in. I know you rated. I was really fucking tired. Like I have a newborn at home, and that little girl does not let us sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty tired, but it was fun. It was fun, and I'm digging the tech tree. My biggest problem with it is they're forcing too many cinematics, and it throws off the flow of the game.
Yeah.
I think you guys are gonna feel that if you try Diablo 4. But I'm excited for Diablo 4. Let's see. I'm excited for the game update for Total War Warhammer 3. If you guys, so I know some of you guys are into Bannerlords, and you get to like control your own units with your general. Total War Warhammer 3 is kind of like that, where you actually control, you get generals, but it's going to be a top-down RTS type view, and you can actually do flanks. You can do very advanced maneuvers, a lot more advanced than meets the eye. But the Chaos Dwarves are coming out. So these are dwarves that got stuck in like a mountain because they were in another dimension, and they had to sell their souls to the Chaos Demons. And so they're part demon, part dwarves. And yes, the main guy looks like Kumbhakarna. So I'm super excited about that because I've been talking about them for years, and they're now going to release. And the really cool thing is they have like kind of steampunk machinery that is powered by demonic runes. It sounds super nerdy. I fucking love it. And then there's another hack and slash that my brother wants me to play, and it looked pretty good. It looks like, I don't know, have you guys seen the art for the game Hades?
Yeah.
It's like kind of anime-ish. So it's like that, and it's for fairy tale characters. So there's like Red Riding Hood. Man, I don't remember what it's fucking called. Funkbot, if you're in here, definitely drop it. What the name of that game is. So I'm hyped for that. And then there's one board game I am kind of hyped for, and that's Frosthaven. So we talked about that earlier. But it's very D&D-ish. And we've been waiting 3 years for that board game to come out.
Also real quick, Jay Slayer asked, we ever upload a vid to YouTube again, asking for a friend. Yes, this one I will try my best to put this on YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm probably gonna do the whole thing raw, and then I'll probably have highlights. I don't know exactly, I don't know about the highlight portion, but I'm definitely gonna have this whole thing up on YouTube, and I should have no problems with music because this is all supplied thanks to Frosty Jams. Yes, Frostysauruswrecks.
Let's go.
And so yeah, this will be on YouTube, and also that also answers the question for I can't pronounce the name, but yes, you called him Itch. I'll call him Itch too. So yeah, this will be on YouTube. No worries. Will this ever reach Spotify and stuff? I have no idea because I'm not really too knowledgeable about like how this all works with Spotify. But maybe Frosty knows more about that kind of stuff with distribution and all that.
Yeah, I can help you out with that. You'd probably be going through like Buzzsprout, but there's other free options.
Yeah.
I say don't put the cart in front of the horse. Like I think a good thing. Let's just get this to YouTube, bro. And then I sent you a video as well. So, hey, community, I need you to be hard on Zyzes about this because I will be. So, Zyzes has really good conversations with you guys, and I got to see as an outsider. He was giving one of the followers, which I haven't seen in chat, really fantastic advice. Advice I wish someone at 29 would have told me when I was at like 21. Great life advice about like time management. And I saw that in one of his videos, and so I popped open my recorder. My recorder's just Streamlabs, and I popped it open, and I video recorded about 4 minutes of it, right? And I just J-cutted the fucking shit out of it. Like I just, like where he'd breathe or kind of would stumble off, I just cut it, and I formed it into a video. I'm like, bro, one of these per stream. Right, so every stream, if you just make one of those, pop it into YouTube, put it in Ko-Fi, put it in Instagram, put it in Twitter, like let's just get 4 minutes per stream. Because the thing is, like, I miss the streams all the time, and when I was at work, I was like, oh man, I can't go on Twitch. But if I had these YouTube videos, I could watch them. Now you're maintaining your viewers, you're pulling in viewers while you sleep. I love it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys need to be super hard on them.
And for Jay Slayer, he said maybe next time restart stream before doing podcasts separate from general stream stuff. That's not going to be a problem because what I do for something which I have done for like, let's say Dark Souls, different episodes and stuff, I can easily turn a stream into a highlight and just like literally make it from the start of this podcast to the end, and then upload that whole thing as a highlight. So like the whole stream would be, or this part of the stream where we're doing the podcast, I can upload that in one go. So that's not an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ko-Fi, it's actually coffee, but I do lo-fi, so I say Ko-Fi. It's supposed to be coffee or coffee. So this is like Patreon. It's a competitor to Patreon, and so I'm telling Zizus he should probably make one. And the idea is people buy you a coffee. So it's not necessarily that, oh yeah, this person funds me and they send me money and I make content. The whole concept is, hey, you know what? Why don't you save your money? The coffee's on me. I'll buy your coffee and you keep making content. But of course, that's money in the pocket of your creator. And the thing is, like, for me, I have never taken profit for my content. It always gets reinvested into my content. So like what I've been telling Zizus is, hey, with Ko-Fi, create some, like every single piece of content that he gets, put it into your Ko-Fi for free. So like after the stream, take the Twitch VOD, link it in Ko-Fi, it's there forever, right? So keep doing that. But then for people who like Spagooter Muffin here, he is one of my biggest supporters on Ko-Fi. He gets a lot of exclusive content. So before I release an album, he gets to listen to 30 seconds of each song before I release an album. So he's already jammed out to my new music before anyone's heard it. All of my all the behind the scenes of my business deals, like if I negotiate a contract with an artist, a lot of the wireframe of the art. So this Lo-Fi girl, dude, he got to see the wireframes of this shit. He got to see the negotiation letter for this. Like he gets to see all of that, and it just costs him $5. One-time payment, $5. He gets it per month, or he could do $5 a month. And so that's for me. You could do $2 if you want, right? And so with that, like if he comes out with exclusive content, like if he games with Alpha, maybe you guys get to see that behind the scenes and no one else does. And so that's kind of like a extended version of what it is. I'm gonna drop mine in here because I'm a piece of shit.
No, you can. Yeah. I was gonna add on that I used to actually, when I still made music while streaming and stuff, I used to have a separate channel that was hidden in Discord only for subs to listen to stuff that I might have privated, I think is the word, but or stuff that I was working on, and I would post it there. But I've kind of stopped doing it because I kind of this is my own fault, because I lost confidence in making music, so I stopped doing that. But I could do something like that, yeah, have exclusives and whatnot.
Yeah, and hey, Zizus, I think this is where you and I can collaborate, and work, because I just want you to succeed, right? And I think you want me to also.
Yeah.
Like I need to come up with a schedule for myself. Maybe one of these days, let's grab a beer, let's go in Discord, and let's talk about like a schedule. Because like, hey, look at your question from J Slayer. When's the next podcast? Probably need to have a schedule for that, and I'm going to be tuning in. I say you bring in one of your other streamers in here, like Imperial or somebody, bro. I'll be in here drinking a beer with you guys.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of people that can do that, for sure. It's just yeah, I don't know why I don't do these type of things. I'm very happy that I finally settled on doing the podcast episode 1 with you.
Yeah, man.
And it's also because we haven't spoken for so long, I really felt like, okay, I need to make sure that I am on time with this, I'm ready and all that. So I really try my best with that.
This was great.
Yeah.
This was fantastic.
So I'm really happy overall. But when the next podcast is, I'll be honest, I haven't given it that much thought when I should have, because I should have been prepared, of course. Most of this, well, actually the whole thing mostly is improv, except for the fact that Frosty did have some emails ready and whatnot about the DC Universe Online drama and all that.
Yeah, dude, that was fun.
But most of it is improv, and yeah, when the next podcast is, I don't know, but I should be better at planning stuff. This is also where normally, back when I did pursue to be a more serious streamer, I would have my manager Paige. She used to flame me for not preparing stuff and all that kind of other stuff. She would suggest things. And because I've not really taken it as serious anymore, I've not really thought about like, oh, what am I going to do in the future? But since you guys are liking this podcast and stuff, and just in general, I'm liking the idea of it. Maybe I should get my act together and just keep doing it, and also plan stuff out. Yeah. These kind of things should be announced in announcement channel on Discord. I agree. I thought about that after I posted it in the live channel, because most of the people have the live channel muted, which, yeah, fair play, because it's like I spam it every day saying that I'm live, and this should have been an announcement and not live. Yeah.
Yeah. See, from my point of view, I'm not worried about it. This thing's gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna promote it anyway. Awesome. Yeah, man. I think you're gonna be the next fucking Joe Rogan.
No, I don't think so. Dude, I don't think so.
You need to start doing roids and start beating people up.
Yeah, no, I actually like if I can be honest about myself, I think I'm doing all right, but I'm always very critical about myself, and I never view myself as that high up or whatever. And that's one of my issues that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Of course, I never really consider myself to be like maybe as high as you guys think I am. But same thing with Elder Scrolls Online, for example. Like I never really thought I was that great of a player. I still don't believe that to this day. But then some people say otherwise. So yeah, that's a kind of an issue with self-confidence. That's a whole other topic that I could talk about for hours. But maybe for another time. Yeah.
Nah, man, you ran this with confidence. I wouldn't beat yourself up too hard. Like, I think this was a good podcast. Remember, this is a product. You just made a product, and this is something you can run with. And so, if you were not completely embarrassed by the first release of your product, then you released way too late. This is fine, man. I say you open up the video editor, you just cut the big PP breaks that we had, put that shit on YouTube and start promoting it.
Yeah.
And then set up the next time, bring in Imperial, bring in Decimus, bring in any of these streamers. I got a brand new streamer that only averages like 5 people, but like he's got a pretty interesting story, man. He started streaming because he got laid off from his business. Like there's interesting things to be heard there. Like I think a lot of your viewers, and my viewers could relate. And so, dude, I'm down. I'm super jealous. I don't have enough time to do podcasts on the normal, but I'll definitely be supporting yours. So
thank you. And also in general, I had a big talk about it yesterday, even when it comes to like having certain builds in a game, right? Where it's the same thing with streaming. It's just because someone might not be a big streamer doesn't mean that they're a quality person, so even someone like you said that maybe averages 5 viewers or something, they can have very interesting stories, and that's definitely something that I always appreciate as well. So you don't necessarily need to be a high viewer streamer in order to provide quality content for either this podcast or yourself even.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this podcast could be like, so there's a guy in Smite. I don't know if he's been around for about 6 years. His name is Mariachi Loki. I'm going to be interviewing on his podcast after his kid's born. His kid's due in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And he streams only VTubers, so he goes more into the art side of things. But what I found interesting is what he does is he finds small YouTubers and small streamers to interview, and he pulls out that interesting aspect. Because everyone and their mom wants to interview PewDiePie. Me, I'm not the least bit interested in PewDiePie. I'm interested in the new upcoming streamers. It's kind of like stocks. I want to get in on the early one of those interesting people. So maybe that's where the value is. I don't know.
100%. I think I'm not going to talk about that now, but when I was younger as well, I really enjoyed watching the come up of certain music artists on YouTube, like for example Anderson .Paak, that used to be Breezy Lovejoy and stuff, and that whole coming up and stuff is really interesting to watch. So same thing with like doing a podcast, having people that are just interesting people in general would be very entertaining to watch, and also just very I would find that very enjoyable to work with. Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's your niche. Maybe mentoring new streamers. I mean, you've gone through the gauntlet, mentoring new streamers while they're on the up and up, and hey, you know what? Creating content while you're at it. I'd be interested in hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that'd be good. Yeah, like the guy I was talking to the other day, he had like 4 people in a stream, and he knew everything there was to about barbecuing, and now I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm listening because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So anyway, coach me, coach. There you go.
Yeah, it's also about.
Your viewers like the idea. I'm with it, man. So I like if you ever can't find anybody, you let me know, and dude, we'll rumble. We'll talk about shit.
Yeah. Well, I think have we reached the end?
Yeah. I think we have. Let's save some more for another day. We definitely have a lot more. Like we have esports to talk about. So I've been doing gaming tournaments for a long time. Long time. We haven't even talked about what happened after DCUO, really.
That's also true. Yeah.
Like we didn't even barely talk about Smite. There's plenty more to talk about. And then we could talk about your podcast, because hopefully you got a couple more episodes after this. But if you need help finding somebody for an interview, let me know.
This depends on you, of course. Maybe this is something that we have to talk about afterwards, but I would love to finish this with you first, but that depends on you, of course.
Yeah, I need to plan things out with my wife, and we do our plans ahead of time. Just because I'm really busy, I'm running a company, I work overtime full time.
Yeah, understandable.
And so, it's got to be planned way in advance. But yeah, let's finish this conversation.
Yeah,
and maybe it's never finished. Maybe it's just always a new conversation.
I'm quickly gonna give you a shout out.
Thanks, Brody, and hey. Chat, thanks for hanging out. Hey, cold ones, you represent, bro. Thanks for showing up, man. Krieger, I know you were at work. Thanks for showing up, bro. Spagooter, always just coming in and showing his big ass nutsack. Thanks for showing up, bro. I really appreciate the support, guys. Funkbot, and then hey, Snack Farm, thanks for having me, guys. Like I feel welcome into the community. And then you, Isis, thanks for making this happen, dude.
Yes.
This was fun. This was
thank you. No, I honestly have more. I have you to thank for taking this serious as well, and just really supporting, because this is the first episode. More to come, of course. I don't have the details yet as to when the next podcast is or anything like that. But if it wasn't for you, then I would have not done this, for sure. So thank you, and I've had a really good time. It really got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I could actually do this more.
You can do this, bro. Yeah. You can 100% do this. And let me tell you, I'm actually an evil person. This is just a very long 5D chess game of me playing so I could have a new podcast to listen to at work. Because I swear to God, I've listened to every other podcast on the planet. I need a new one, bro. So this is me puppeteering that to happen.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, well, then, you can do this, man. All right.
This is I guess this is where we call it. Thank you again for everything. Bro. I'll quickly go to the end screen and I'll also end this call, but thanks again. And also I want to link some stuff of yours. Actually, it's in the pinned message. Yeah, if you would like to, one last time, you can post all your links where we can find you and everything, including the YouTube live stream if you want, or just anything in general. I think you have a specific link even for all your links, right? Yeah, there you go. hyperfollow.com/thebeatlab. Yeah. And thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate it. And I'm gonna end the call here. And thanks again. And hopefully see you on another episode. Yes.
All right. See you next. Take care.